Hello, human peoples. You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. To support us and gain access to great exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and our latest show, Spiel Boys, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do game streaming, movie nights with our patrons every Friday night, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want. Literally anything, within reason, and we have to do it. You are quite frankly out of excuses not to go visit patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hypecast mit Tom Reimann und David Bell.
I drank water and it made things worse. Hold on. I'm okay. Everybody's okay.
Is it like drinking water, just drowning a little bit at a time?
A little bit.
Just like, I just want to drown for a little bit. Just a little bit of drowning. A nice,
little bit.
refreshing nip of drowning.
Yeah, just for like in the mouth. The mouth is drowning, right?
Yeah.
But then it goes down the hole and you're like, ooh, am I going to drown? Nope. Goes to the other hole.
Goes into the tummy
we have
hole.
Like, yeah, we have the two holes. I don't know how we switch between the two.
Nobody knows, Dave. It's
a bad design, right?
It's a complete mystery because it's on the inside, and we'll never know what's going on in there. The people have been guessing for centuries, and nobody's been able to figure out how we have two different holes, one for our tummies and one for our lungies.
Mm-hmm. I'd argue it's the worst design because
it's not great.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, we have this hole that goes to our lungs, and if that hole gets blocked, we die. Mm-hmm. But also, you're gonna cram a lot of stuff in that hole over time. Why not just the nostrils be the lung holes?
It's like putting the self-destruct button next to the ice cream button.
Yeah.
They're too close.
Hi, guys.
Well, hi.
You have thoughts on the hole distribution.
Yes, I do actually, which is that I actually have something called EOE, which means my esophagus hole is getting narrower and narrower, and there's like a real chance that half the time, like if I eat something like a popcorn thing, it might end up in my lung instead of my tummy because the holes are just not the right size anymore.
That sounds terrible.
That's awful.
Yeah, but to fix it, here's what they say to do. They say you can cut out eggs, dairy, shellfish, nuts, soy, and sugar. Do it for 2 months, and then just start adding them back in and see which ones like are causing the reaction. I was like, oh, I'll just die on popcorn. That's okay.
Yeah.
Or what if you like put a bicycle, like swallowed the one end of a bicycle pump, and then just like pumped it up, you know?
Yeah.
Pump it up
your,
like
the
sneakers.
Your esophagus.
You would not. You'd be surprised. I know we have a lot of movies to go through today, but you'd be surprised by how many procedures are like, yeah, just put a little balloon up your nose and just crack that open.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we want to get started? Do we want this to be the show?
We can make this the show. This feels like the show.
Feels like a show. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome to another episode of Hypecast.
Hypecast.
This is the show where we get hyped about stuff and things. I'm your co-host, Tom Ryman.
I'm your other co-host, David Bell.
And I'm Drew Grant. I'm here too. Hi,
Drew.
guys.
Hey, Drew.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure. How are you?
Happy to be here. Doing fine. I decided I'm going to do some active listening and speak closer to the mic this episode. Trying to like take notes from every time I'm on Hypecast and listening to other guests about like the best way to be on here and also make it not go 2 hours and a half long. So
we have a lot of trailers. I think a few of them I'm gonna like we're gonna be snappy, right? But why do you need to take notes?
I was gonna say I have dedicated myself to not learning anything every time we do this.
Oh, because I play this back for people because I'm like all proud of myself, and then like if I like see my partner and he's like, huh, and he just like lightly chuckles at something I say, or I can see him like kind of wince if I interrupt. I'm just like, oh, okay, no, like that's just not the. I want to have good podcast energy.
It's podcasting. Everybody interrupts.
I was about to say, I understand that. To me, good podcasting energy is a bunch of white people interrupting each other, and so that's what we have here. So we'll be good.
You guys have a great dynamic with it, though. Like you guys, and I do that thing where I'm like, oh, sorry, you go. Yeah, it's like you doing that weird like running into someone on the sidewalk kind of thing where you're both ducking.
All of our friends, I think that our sundry friends and their podcasts across the crack diaspora and related things, I think we're all very conscientious interrupters. Mm-hmm. We're all very polite about it.
Yeah. I hope so. I'll let you in on my secret. I don't listen to myself in any podcasts because if I did, I'd never be in another podcast. That's how I do it. I just can't. That's how I master it. Every and every interruption is just like a knife, and so I just don't. I have no self-awareness. That's how I do it.
That's how I do my writing, or that's how I used to write. Now I'm like reflexively, compulsively rewriting every sentence I have ever done. But I used to do this thing where I was like a power blogger. I would just go through like 5 articles like per publication per day, and I worked at 4 places, so like putting out like 20 articles of just like random nonsense. It's because I never spell checked. I just like everything was stream of consciousness. It was so easy back then. And now I'm just like agonizing.
The day of
one run-on sentence.
The salad days.
That's the salad days of digital media.
Drew, what are you up to? Do you have something you want to plug for these fine listeners?
I mean, I do. This show's coming out tomorrow, which is today your guys' time. I'm the editorial director of a site called Passion Fruit. I think I've spoken about it on here before. We are a creator labor website that focuses on issues surrounding, creatives and online professionals who need some help in terms of, learning about the issues, learning about their rights, and learning about what platforms do and do not do to protect you and your money. So tomorrow we actually have an event coming up on our Discord. It's our first ever live event. We're going to have Brandy Posey coming in and talking to us about creator bookkeeping. So that's going to be fun. So if you're interested, check out my Instagram or Twitter or whatever. I should have a link to the Discord, and it'll be a fun event.
And the webpage is, for the record, passionfru.it.
Yeah. I mean,
right?
I didn't come up with that name. But
no, I mean, it's not. I actually think that makes it more memorable. Like, for example, I knew that. Like, when you said passion fruit, I remembered, passionfruit.it. So, I don't know. It's quirky.
Yeah.
It's got a little attitude.
It's just because I came off of the trauma of coming from a place called .LA. So it was dot, and then there's a period in LA. And, like, trying to say that out loud to give people my email was...
Sounds like a nightmare.
It's like a who's on first. Yeah, it was not fun. No, dot, and then there is a dot, LA.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody check that out.
Yeah.
I assume if you Google passion fruit, you will get the fruit and hopefully also the webpage.
Oh, we're not doing well on Google right now because we seem to have some search engine issues backstage, but just go to the website. Yeah. Sign up for the newsletter. I write a newsletter weekly, and it's always fun and quirky, and my only creative writing outlet at the moment. So,
right on.
Yeah.
I would argue Google is not doing well on Google lately.
No, it's not.
It's been pretty bad there. Yeah.
It made a decision. Choices were made.
Choices were made.
Well, as that snake eats itself, why don't we get into some trailers?
No, Tom. Why don't we thank some producers?
You son of a bitch! All right, let's do that.
Starting with a big thank you to @NerdNumbers. Thank you. Thank you to Zero Charisma.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to a bag full of bags. Thank you. Thank you to Aaron Burser.
Thank you.
Thank you to AJ.
Thank you.
Thank you to Andrew Howe and Andrew McGuire's Awkward Meet Cute.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Andrew. Drew deserves more hype, McGuire. Thank you. Thank you to Asking Seven.
That was serendipitous. Thank you. And Drew. Let me jump in here. Thank you to Bob Grenville.
Thank you.
To Poolman.
Thank you.
To Brian and Tom Knows. Thank you to Brockway Loves the Meat Millie.
Thank
you
you.
to Burrito wants you to drink water, hit the gym, and do the ska, because they loves y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you to Chester's Prophet.
Thank
Thank you
you.
to Christopher Robert Sparks, Esquire.
Thank
And thank you
you.
to Dan Hackroyd.
Thank you.
Am I supposed to
Okay.
am I supposed to say thank you? I've never known the etiquette there.
You. It is optional.
You are not
It is.
obligated to say thank you.
Yeah.
For those,
Exactly.
For those listening at home, we are now doing this over Zoom, which means that Tom and Dave can like see me, and I feel like that adds a whole new dynamic of like when I'm like leaning into the mic, like about to jump in and hesitating. Like I feel like that's like a whole new. I don't know if you're putting this video out anywhere. I hope you do. But setting a whole.
It's
new.
weird. It's for the longest time we podcasted in person, and like early podcasting, it was like even like people were trying to be like really professional with studios. Then the pandemic hit, and we all learned something about how lazy we can be about podcasting. And then lately, I've brought back Zoom, and it's like weird to see people again.
It's great.
Even though that's kind of it is great.
No,
it's
it
like the
is.
natural.
It helps the episodes for sure.
Yeah. Alien Romulus. Alien Romulus.
Why did you have to start with this one? This is the one I'm going to go on for about 45 minutes.
Yeah, same. It's what's their name? Fede Alvarez.
Hey, Alvarez, yeah.
It's going to be so scary. It's going to be so scary. I mean, it was terrifying. I did not know this was coming. I forgot they were making this. I am also a huge Prometheus apologist, though. Like Prometheus and Alien Covenant, because I really think David is like one of the best.
Bold. No, I do like David. That's
Yeah.
that
one of the
was
best villains.
that was a good character little
I
trip
think-
that we took with him through those two movies.
Yeah, my view is that Prometheus is a very interesting and I would say a good sci-fi movie and a terrible alien movie, and they shouldn't have. It's like he felt pressure to add aliens in it, is what it seemed like.
Well, go ahead.
Oh no, I just think they should have they should have stuck to the android shit, I think, but.
There's this whole thing. They had that whole website. I think I've mentioned this before on a Friday night movie night, but I think I'm the first person to ever hack into their back end of their ARG site that they set up for Prometheus. Like seriously, the back end of the site, which tells you a lot more information about like how these things connect. It might also have like a Blade Runner connection.
They hid all this in the back door
Right.
of the website?
Well,
I
no,
guess this is all the stuff people didn't find, maybe, right?
Yeah, this was stuff people didn't find. I mean, there were like secret passcodes and stuff, and people seem to have found the code. They thought it was a password thing, but it wasn't. It was just an extended part of the URL. I just found it by going on the Wayback Machine and looking at the sitemap, and was able to like bypass.
Like a hacker.
Yeah, but I found out why David is the way he is, and like all this information that I feel like other people don't know of Wayland Yutani. So again, I could go on for 45 minutes, but I do like the idea of this also just being a reboot. Maybe David's back in it. I don't know.
So what we know is that this takes place between Alien and Aliens. I keep saying, and I've said it before, that I really think this should just be Ripley's daughter, and they should have just done Alien Isolation,
Yes.
Alien Isolation.
the movie.
Yeah.
I read a little more, so as you guys can probably assume, Romulus is, of course, the name of a ship. It's the name of a Weyland-Yutani research station, according to what rumors I've seen, that has been abandoned for like 100 years, and this crew is going on. I that could still be Ripley's daughter being involved, and like, but yeah, Alvarez, of course, did the Evil Dead remake and Don't Breathe. Two movies that I would argue are very well directed.
And terrifying. Like, just absolutely viscerally upsetting. Like, in the way...
I thought...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I thought Don't Breathe was a little silly. Don't Breathe.
Don't breathe.
But yeah.
Oh, I was thinking of Crawl.
He'll
I was
heal
thinking
you.
of- He'll heal you.
He did Crawl, right?
No. That was the other guy that he's friends with, I think, did Crawl.
Oh, okay.
But I was thinking, Don't Breathe is not as good as Evil Dead. Evil Dead was such a take. What a take
Yeah.
to be like, I'm
That
not
was
going to make
pretty
this movie
awesome
funny.
take, yeah.
Yeah. Like, just...
And the promise here, right, is they're going back to horror. And I would argue no Alien film has really gone back to horror since the original.
Yeah, I
And they're going back. Yeah, and this is going to be
Alien
gory.
3,
They're
you
very.
don't think?
I still think it's a little actiony. Like it's still you're like
A hard trope
you're
of-
right. That's the closest.
It's
probably.
the hard trope of you fuck Charles Dance and then he dies immediately. Like he's not a virgin anymore, so he has to die. So that I feel
Does
That's
that
true.
happen in other movies? Has that proven true across multiple films?
it's just true of horror movies. Once you're not a virgin anymore, you die. That seems
Oh, I thought you
literally
were
what
saying it
happens.
was specifically a trope about Charles Dance.
Charles Dance, you fuck Charles Dance, he dies.
sound like a
Radioactive
Sean-
dick.
Don't you remember that
Curses you.
Godzilla scene where he just like fucks Vera Farmiga, and
Yeah.
then just dies off screen?
Yeah.
I think actually
Eaten
he's still
by King
alive.
Ghidorah. No, I think
Ghidorah?
he
Yeah.
lived at the end. Anyway, we're getting off topic.
Yeah. This movie looks amazing. It looks amazing, and I wonder if there's like a Romulus connection, like in this Wayland Utami text file, this giant set I found. I'll
Maybe.
get back to you about it.
Well, isn't it a moon? Isn't Romulus a moon?
It's a band.
I mean, it might be, probably.
It's a
also-
band. It's a band.
No, it's actually it's abandoned. It's an abandoned space station. We went over this. It's
I mean, Romulus is also a planet in Star Trek.
It's also the name of one of the wolves from that
That
myth.
live within you?
No. You know, the two wolf children. It was Romulus and the other one, and they
Remus.
yeah, and they had a mom. And was this Beowulf or something? No, it's not Beowulf. Drew, that's just saying
It is mythology.
Yeah.
It again, they also have two planets, Romulus and Remus in Star Trek. I doubt that'll be part of this.
It could be. What
I
if
think
it was
it's
a Star
just-
Trek crossover?
Oh, it'd be
Oh
amazing.
my
Sweet.
god. Well, it's also
Some Borg aliens.
it's also Roman Roy's real name. So maybe this is like a Succession, remake.
Yeah.
This is part of the Jesse Armstrong
Fuck
universe.
it.
Yeah, why not?
No, I mean this trailer looks great, right?
It's
This
a cool
is
trailer.
Fucking,
I'm sure the movie is going to be very violent.
Yes.
I don't know how scary Alien can be anymore, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think so. This actually had something in it that made me go like, "Oh God!" Is the face huggers like bursting out of
yeah.
that door, and like, "Oh my God!" A cluster of them like spiders.
The close up
yeah.
of the pulling the tube out of somebody's throat, the
Oh
face
my
hugger.
Yeah.
Tube, that was that because there's a similar scene to that in Saltburn, and that got me in that movie too.
Wait,
Yeah.
a tube? Somebody got an alien in them inside? Watch that movie. What?
At the end when he yanks the feeding tube out.
Oh yeah. Wow, that's the part of Saltburn you found upsetting. Okay.
No. That is one of the parts I found upsetting, and I thought this
Right.
was similar to it. It's a similar image.
Yeah, I mean, I think what he's going to go for here is kind
Visceral,
of
yeah.
the grotesque, visceral body horror
Yeah.
of being torn apart or having these things shoved in your orifices, and like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's
that
pretty
is
gnarly,
like
yeah.
the H.R. Giger alien tradition that we haven't. I love the first four Aliens. Don't get me wrong, but after James Cameron came in, they kind of pivoted, and they went more of like more towards action thriller, I would say. And this just really looks like they're going back to haunted house in space.
And what I love about it is just like, you know, the idea of aliens are not scary to me. Like the big mother queen, whatever, they have never really been scary. The only scary part about aliens to me is the part where they go inside your body and like that body horror of like it's an infestation of aliens. They don't have to be big. They could be
Right.
like they're just so many of them. Like I hate bugs, and to turn them into giant bugs is like a really smart move for this
Yeah, have them
franchise.
kind of cluster and like or
It's like the opposite of the engineers, whatever
Yeah.
those were, you know.
I will say one thing, which is that, and this is sort of
Sorry, I'm just thinking about the engineers. Just dudes really into fitness. Space giants really into fitness.
yeah, swole aliens. They do look like Greys if Greys just worked out a lot.
Yeah. They all look like Dr. Manhattan. But yeah.
They do. No,
Just Grays throwing up reps.
yeah. The only I guess quote unquote hit against this is that it's just like, what's the point? Like, it's like, oh, they're in a big abandoned spaceship. There's an alien. Yeah, I've seen that. It's called Alien. You know, like, but that's like literally any alien film you make has that issue, which is like, why are we even making them? This is, in my opinion, kind of the best version. It feels more like a remake for sure, but like, it also feels like a wonderful recalibration
I think it's like a requel more than anything. Like if we're going to use those terminology, because it seems like a return to form, whereas Prometheus, well, no, Prometheus felt like it was a remake of like an alien movie. Like it was taking a different tone. It's a different genre of movie. It's like hard sci-fi. It's way more about like philosophical issues and stuff. Whereas this feels like a return to the original Alien. Like you said, like this grimy aesthetic. It's horror. It's claustrophobic. So a requel.
Yeah, and for the record, I think we should make millions of Alien movies. I think the charm of them is you get a unique director to do their take on Alien. I think we sort of lost our like again. Prometheus is great, but I think we lost our way with that on like what the fun of Alien is, which is pick a director, pick a setting, put an alien in there, see what you can do with it. You know. So this just feels, I don't know. And I think you could argue that James Cameron even like made that amazing film, but that redirected Alien, and we sort of forgot like, well, why not just make a straight up gory slasher horror movie again?
I mean, have you guys read the Alien comic book series? Like, there's many of them. There's like millions of them.
I read a few of them.
Yes, I have. Yeah,
the one that's like, I forget what it's called, like Skull or like Bones and Ash or something like that, where it is like it turns out David is a prophet like of like the new society of cyborgs.
I haven't read any since Prometheus has come out.
Yeah.
No.
I read like the old one, the Alien vs. Predator comics. Yeah.
Yeah, there's apparently some really good graphic novels that take like that bridge Prometheus and Blade Runner and Alien into like one meta narrative about the rise of like the uprising of like synthetics people.
Right.
And I think that's just really cool. Really into it.
That is.
And then adding Predator to it is very stupid, but I kind of like that too.
Oh yeah, I think
Predator to anything is that's it. It's kind of stupid, but I like that too.
Oh yeah.
Anytime Predator shows up,
they should still do Aliens versus Predator versus Batman. I want a full movie version of that.
But Lance Hendrickson is he still with us?
Yeah, he's still with us.
Okay, Lance Hendrickson can be in it because he plays point about this, he plays one of the Waylands, but it doesn't necessarily have to be Guy Pearce's character. It could be a different dude, like his grandfather. I think me and Lon figured out once. Like, there's a way the timeline works where Guy Pearce can still be a Wayland like guy
related to Lance Henriksen.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
yeah.
Or it's like, well, they do the same thing on Star Trek with Data, because they keep bringing Brett Spiner into like the Picard sequels and stuff, and they're just acting like his like lineage is just so inbred that he looks exactly the same, and his grandsons look exactly the same. It's weird.
I think,
but fuck it.
Lance Henriksen, I think, is Guy Pearce's grandson through Charlize Theron, which is what it is. Yeah,
it's fucking weird. You know what? It doesn't seem like they're going to bring back is Sigourney Weaver, and I'm of two minds where I'm like, I actually could see a way to do a Sigourney Weaver movie, or have her like if it was like I don't know.
She was supposed to. It was supposed to be that guy who does Chappie. Like
Neil
I interviewed her.
Oh yeah.
They were filming that when I interviewed her once, and she like told me that they were doing that movie, and then by the time it came out, the profile came out, she had made a liar out of me. So
well, I think that it's ultimately like we've seen a very bad pattern of them doing that and being like, we brought back Jamie Lee Curtis. It doesn't matter that the movie sucks, and so like that's why I'm kind of happy that they're like one of my weird critiques of Alien is that I'm not sure you needed Sigourney Weaver to keep coming back. I'm glad they did, but like it's weird because then we kind of tied it to her, right? And then there's this weird expectation of like, well, she has to come back, and it's like, does she though? Like, can't
David's like, you know what would be great if we did Aliens without the female heroine? Can we just make this more of a?
I mean, it can star a different female heroine. I mean, Prometheus did that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's just funny because it's like her and Sarah Connor are the two action like hero, and Jamie Lee Curtis, I guess, in the more horror direction. But those are like the staples of like strong female characters in movies. So
oh yeah.
Arguably, I feel like they did need Sigourney because like the role was written for a man, and she just made it her own, and like that.
Oh, I mean, you needed her in Alien and Aliens. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying that like there's so many things that were kind of tied to the Alien franchise in terms of what does it mean to make an Alien film, right? Like, is Sigourney Weaver an essential part of that DNA? The the same way Terminator, where it's like, is Arnold Schwarzenegger an essential part of that DNA? The answer is sort of like, so these movies might not have necessarily meant to be like serialized so much, but it's all to say that I'm glad they didn't try to do the quote unquote legacy sequel, right? Where they try to get as many actors from the original to bring back.
Yeah.
I'm just happy. I'm happy they kind of found a time, like an era of time where Ripley's asleep,
She's asleep
between the two movies to like tell this little claustrophobic story.
I'm very excited. I mean, I think this will tie into Prometheus. I do think this is all like a share. Ridley Scott's producing it, so he signed off on it the same way he signed off on Lindelof writing this whole like ARG rewrite of the script of Prometheus. So there's big lore there, and I just think that they this probably does tie back into the larger narrative in ways that I don't think he would have like allowed the movie to be made.
Oh yeah, I think they'll be.
Yeah.
Sorry, that I just wanted to interject and say that's like the thing that I do not care about in alien movies is the lore. I don't care.
But it's
just
like-
give
Here's
me
the
a
thing
scary
is,
bug in space.
I think the lore works as essentially flavor text, meaning that like there's lore throughout the first 4 Aliens. It's just in the background, and it's like, yeah, do that. Like there can be a little bit of lore in this for sure. It's just
that tends to be what we've talked about before. It's like where these franchises tend to lose their way when they get serialized. To say, well, let's go into the lore and.
I guess it's just my thing of like ARGs, like Under the Silver Lake, like movies that have not just Easter eggs, but like hidden stories behind the stories. And there is stuff like in Prometheus and Covenant and in the extra bonus features that is like a story that you have to unlock, and like it's more of like a cryptology game, and it's like a geocaching. I just love that part of it where I feel like there's an extra level of play to involve yourself with it, you know?
Well, I think that is the purpose of comic books and video games and web pages, right? Like that's what it always used to be. And that's why I think like going what Tom said, like they lose their way when they start putting that shit front and center, where it's like, it's good to know your lore in the world you're in and to world building, but that's not the
story.
point.
Yeah. The lore is not the story.
Yeah.
I mean, that's enough about that, but I will say Westworld and Weyland-Yutani has the same exact logo. There was something else recently where it's like, oh yeah, this is like the whole culture of synthetic people. I think this might be one shared universe, and that's just my own headcanon. We can leave it there.
I like it.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. You know, the movie Soldier takes place in the Blade Runner universe.
Yeah, fuck it.
What?
Yeah, the Kurt Russell movie.
Oh, wow. But in the Blade Runner universe? Wow, okay.
I mean, does Ridley Scott approve of that? Yeah.
We were watching
I feel like Ridley Scott would not accept that, but
I was watching something recently where somebody was wearing a shield and like a backpack, some sort of like knapsack or something, and the Weyland-Yutani logo was on. Was it Starship Troopers, something like that? And the Weyland-Yutani logo was on, like very small logo was on the backpack. Yeah.
But yeah, Alien Romulus. I think it's going to be. They've made all these. They've made a few like both Evil Dead and Don't Breathe are essentially, we're stuck here. We're being murdered. We have to escape. This is no different, except it's really way harder to escape in this case. So it's like this. I don't know. I think this is going to be that escape horror vibes, and it's gonna be fun as shit. Like you can kind of feel like you know how it's gonna go, right? Where there's like the small ship, the drop ship, the mothership. Got to get back to the small ship. Got to get off.
Well, actually, character-wise, though, both his films star women who are like severely damaged in some way, right? The first one's a drug addict. Jane Leave is like a drug addict, and that was like a really heavy thing to put in like the Evil Dead movie to set the tone for it. And then Don't Breathe, she's breaking into a home. She's like part of a crime gang.
Yeah, she's in rock bottom. Yeah.
So I wonder if there's gonna be some like interesting interplay there. I don't know.
I mean, maybe she's looking for her mother who disappeared and it fucked her up.
Yep.
Decades previously.
Yeah. Should we talk about?
We should.
Yeah. Probably.
Okay, this just dropped. Beetlejuice. Great title.
Solid title.
I didn't realize what it was. Yeah, that's fine.
Oh yeah. I love the offer that they're like, Jeffrey Jones is dead.
He
and
sure
it's
is.
like, yeah.
It's like, how are they going to bring Jeffrey Jones back? Well,
We're not.
Yeah.
in the ground.
Yeah,
Catherine
go ahead and
O'Hara's
Google
back.
Jeffrey Jones if you're curious why they would do that. Yeah, Catherine O'Hara is there.
Winona
Alec
Ryder.
Baldwin, not. Gina Davis, probably not.
Probably
they
not. Yeah, I
cast-
don't think the Maitlands are there. I think the Maitlands went somewhere. I don't know.
One of them
Yeah,
was going to jail.
Yeah, I would argue that bring back. So I'm really happy to see O'Hara in there. I'm happy to see Winona Ryder.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they're sort of going between these two ideas, which is that like the biggest surprise to me is like, why didn't they make Beetlejuice 20 years ago? Why didn't they make another one several years after the first one?
I think there's a book written about Beetlejuice Goes Hawaiian or something. It's one of the
Yeah.
more famous unproduced movies in Hollywood.
Well, you guys know, like, the original story, he was like a sex creep. Oh, yeah. So, like, in the
Jeffrey
first
Jones?
script- No, Beetlejuice.
No, Beetlejuice.
In the original
yeah.
script, he was a sex creep. It was like a quiet on set.
He's like Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, but even more so, like, he was, like, preying on Lydia. Like, it wasn't just like he's trying to get married to her for.
I mean, I would argue he's still a sex creep in the movie.
He
way
is,
more
yeah.
blatant, like way
Yeah.
more like predator, like child predator kind of vibes. And I mean, I'm a big fan of like bridging the Beetlejuice movie with the Beetlejuice cartoon, in which they're best friends. Like, where did that come
Yeah,
from?
fuck it.
And then the musical came, and like that was fantastic, the Broadway musical, and that bridged that story about how they would like arc that character development. So like Beetlejuice
Right.
and Lydia are both outsiders, and they both feel like they don't belong in their respective worlds, and like it's. I think the musical's really good. I would have liked to see if like they could have gotten that guy back to
Oh yeah.
to play him. But Michael Keaton, weirdly like underwhelming like moment for him at the end. I mean, I think it's great that he would say the juice is loose, but
it's a solid line.
It's very stupid. I love it. Yeah.
also, is his pop culture references going to be like, is he stuck in the 90s? Did he get like to
I
a certain
hope-
level?
I hope so. No, I think it's the fact that he's so much older is he's covered in makeup, and I love that it's like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter. Beetlejuice can look immortal. Like they don't have to de-age him or anything.
Why does he have to wait? He can't say his name. He can't say juice. That's the whole point. He can't say.
Well,
part of it.
you can't say Beetlejuice. Oh yeah, you're right. He had to mimic the
yeah.
whole thing. I don't know, man. Maybe he got a power up. But what I was gonna say is that like like when you think about like what if they made a Beetlejuice sequel in the 90s, they wouldn't bring back Lydia, I don't think. I mean, the cartoon, if the cartoon's canon, but it would be here's another adventure of Beetlejuice, right? Because his whole thing is he's a reverse exorcist, right?
Bioexorcist.
But yeah, he goes from case to case.
Or as they say in the musical, goes zombie Jesus, which
Yeah.
I like that a lot too.
So I feel like they're trying to do both here. Like they're bringing back the old cast, but they're bringing in a new person. This isn't like a criticism. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I also don't care.
Don't have too
right?
much invested in it.
Yeah.
It's like I love the original movie. I watched it a lot growing up, but this
Right.
I'm glad they finally made this, but if it's not very good, well, whatever.
Yeah, I guess this is all to say I'm getting light Ghostbusters vibes. And what I mean by that is I'm like, why is it still in the town and in the house? Why is Lydia there? Why are all the characters back? Beetlejuice wasn't really it was a
He
one
wasn't
and
tied
done
to
thing.
this place, yeah.
Exactly.
I think
And
that's the thing. I think he is. Maybe I don't.
apparently,
think,
but I don't know why.
Because he
Not in
lives
the
in that
original
little town.
film.
No, he can't leave. I don't think he can leave. He gets on that planet and there's sandworms. Like he's like on
It
the
just-
planet.
Saturn.
Yeah, it just feels like it's that thing where it's like you look at a character like Indiana Jones, right? And he sort of became Mickey Mouse, where it's like he's got to have this, this, and this. He's got to have the hat. Beetlejuice is no different, right? You go to Universal Studios, you'll see Beetlejuice. He's walking down. He's a mascot. And so, like, there's this idea of, like, Beetlejuice has to look a certain way and be a certain way. And it feels like they've, like, added in, like, oh, yeah, you need the model. You need the house. You need the bridge. Like, all these other things that I'm like, why is it all in the same town? Why are we bringing back all these things? That, to me, that makes me, like, a little hesitant.
David,
where it's
isn't that opposite Ghostbusters? Because Ghostbusters just took the whole thing and put it like in the fucking, in the middle of nowhere. Like that's
the first one did, but they're like, we got to bring back Slimer. We got to get the car involved.
Yeah.
And then this new one, they're going straight back into New York and stuff.
I just think, look, you opened the Pandora's box with this one and the Alien movie because I've thought so long and hard about Beetlejuice and like what his deal is and like what makes a Beetlejuice, like the characteristics. Because
What makes a Beetlejuice a Beetlejuice?
A Beetlejuice?
Yeah.
Is he
like,
one of many?
No, he's one of one, like kind of like Lydia is, but like that's why he's so specific. He's like
Oh, I see what you're saying.
He's not like a ghost, right? He's not a demon. I don't think
he's
ever
the ghost
human.
with the most.
He's a ghost with the most.
Right.
He's never alive though, so he's not like a ghost.
He was alive.
No, he wasn't.
They say so in the movie.
I know. I think the original thing though is he's demonic. Like he never was like ever living. He also, when he says he's a bioexorcist, that's also just a lie. Like he's conning them basically. He's conning the Maitlands into what he wants to happen, which is for him to marry Lydia.
And free himself from whatever. Yeah, you're right. He's got to free himself from that realm.
Exactly. So I just think it's what makes a Beetlejuice has to be like that sense of Freddy Krueger like play. It's got to be like big into like doing different voices and stuff. So in that way, there's no one voice you do for Beetlejuice. It's him doing a bunch of different voices. He's
Bugs Bunny. He's very Bugs Bunny in a lot of the scenes. And especially in the cartoon, which I never really saw the cartoon, but I got some of it from osmosis, so I kind of know like what its general vibe was.
Yeah, they're best friends. It's him and Lydia. The Maitlands are not there, and it's him
and
Lydia riding.
And I've seen some of the ghosts. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen enough of it.
I mean, but why would they ride sandworms? It's what killed him, or like what killed him.
Well, Gina
more.
Davis mastered the sandworm and drove it into him.
Yeah,
that's true.
So
she did.
Maybe that's what he's doing. He's like, well, I got to learn to ride this sandworm now, so it can't be done to me again.
And
I mean, now I'm just assuming their afterlife is in fact the planet from Dune.
Yeah.
Like, might as well have a crossover. Fuck it.
I think that's purgatory, like the waiting room. There's that, Juno, the caseworker, all the people that are, with the shrunken head thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's. Look, I'm not going to go on about it, but I would just love Beetlejuice to turn out to be Paul Atreides. That's just what it is. He's the last one.
Muad'Dib, Beetlejuice.
Yeah, exactly.
I want if they did a crossover where like Dune 2, he slowly started dressing more and more like Beetlejuice, and like you just slowly realize like, wait a second.
He's like, it's showtime, and it's like just get that the Danny Elfman score, and everyone's like, Muad'Dib, as it was prophesied.
By the way, this sequel has Willem Dafoe in it.
What?
And I am hoping, praying that he plays Beetlejuice's cousin
or
named
father.
like or father named like Centipede Milk or something.
Although, he can't play Beetlejuice's father. Fucking Michael Keaton's older than him.
I don't give a fuck.
Is that true?
He can do whatever he wants.
I think it has to be true, right?
I assume so.
They must be pretty close to the same age.
No,
actually.
you're right. I forgot. Willem Dafoe's in his 50s. He just looks so old, I think.
I think he's going to be the caseworker, maybe. But like I assume
oh my God,
someone's going to die. There's going to be a caseworker. I don't know. I'm very hopeful for this. And like I said, I personally have nothing at stake here. I'm just sort of wondering, like, well, why is it all in the same place? Why are we bringing back, like, it's weird to me. It's weird when you go back to that question of what makes a thing, like what makes Alien, Beetlejuice. Oh, I almost said it 3 times.
Maybe the answer is that they're trying to resurrect Jeffrey Jones, like thinking that they can bring back the dad or like commune with the dad. So they're going back to the house where they know they can commune with ghosts, right? Because
that's a good idea. That's a good premise.
Because in this world, people like Robert Goulet and stuff like know that ghosts are real. Like,
he wasn't playing Robert Goulet.
Yeah,
also, he's got to be dead, right? They launched him through the ceiling.
I don't know. I love it when he says like,
yeah.
he's the genius who made the talking Marcel Marceau statue. Like that's maybe my favorite line.
Solid line. Well, Dave, I just realized.
Hold on.
You've been what?
Sorry, one more cast thing. I didn't even, and it's amazing. Monica Bellucci is playing quote Beetlejuice's wife.
Yes!
That's all they have listed.
Yes,
Beetlejuice's wife.
Yes.
I'm like, hell yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Tom, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say that the reason there's as far as we know, not the Maitlands, the Dietzes never left that house. Like they were still living in the same house in the same town. So
that's
I assume
true.
that like Catherine O'Hara, Delia.
Right.
Delia. I assume Delia and Charles stayed in that house until Charles died.
Right.
Right.
But you guys get what, like, for example, Lydia in this is dressed and looked exactly like she did in the first movie. Mm-hmm. Isn't that weird? Like, isn't it weird that she is like a cartoon character? That she is like what makes her is like, wouldn't it be interesting, honestly, if she like grew out of being a goth? Not saying that everybody does that, but
at the end of the
exactly
first movie.
she did at the end of the first one. You're right.
That's because she's going to prep school. That's because she's going to a specific like kind of.
But she'd
prep
also
school.
come
Right,
out of her
but-
shell and was being more of a sunnier
That was-
disposition.
Can I
too.
be
Yeah,
honest?
make her like a fucking like weird like happy-go-lucky character in this who's like has to be reminded that Beetlejuice even existed or something like
I
that.
feel like that's the trope, though. Is like the she goes up and she grows up and she becomes like Hook. It's like she's uptight and she doesn't remember her childhood,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
This is more like
Right.
Look, personally, I got my first prom dress at Hot Topic, and yesterday I went to Hot Topic, and like the last Tuesday I went to Hot Topic, and like I will keep going to Hot Topic. This shirt is from Hot Topic. Like they just have a really good discount program. And
They got rid of they used to have so many more patches and they had those cool sodas. Remember the sodas they had in the
no, I-
90s?
Go online, man.
Oh, I go online. I get those sodas. Yeah,
I mean,
they're great.
it's worse. We are a group of people who still dress the same way that they did 20
Yeah,
years ago.
but you get what I'm saying is
Yeah,
that
well,
at
it's-
the end of, I
it's
mean,
weird
even
because
at
they
the end,
made a
like you
point of
said,
it at the end of the first movie. Yeah.
right, and it's like, okay, so Beetlejuice is an icon. He dresses and looks exactly one way because he's this undead creature.
Yes, my
Why is
mom.
everybody else dressed the same way? Why is everything else exactly the same?
Well,
And-
yeah, but also it seems like the house isn't lived in because like they have to pull the sheet off of the thing. So what
Right.
happened to the Dietzes?
Which-
What kind of trauma happened that they moved out of their ghost friend's house? You know,
Right. Yeah, that felt very, again, like Ghostbusters a little bit, where they, like the first, and they do the slow Deo, which I get they're doing
Oh, I
like
love
a
that.
choir.
Oh, come on,
But it has all the same, I would say, red flags to me, as like the kind of putting reverence on things that were just in the first movie as like a gag, that it's like, this isn't canon, right? This isn't like everything has to be this way. And so
interesting.
like I'm a little nervous about this based on that, but this trailer looks fun. Like,
Did you see who's playing the Otto character? Like it looks like he's playing the Otto character from The Funeral. It's Bern Gorman. Which
I
I
thought
think
he was like the Reverend.
But Otto is sort of like that. It's that, religious figure. He's got the text. He's doing the ceremony, whatever. I guess I'm conflating a little bit with his role in Heathers, but I think that is going to be like the new mom friend or whatever.
he's in Watcher and he's great.
I love Bern Gorman. What a name.
Yeah,
face.
we should keep going though. We should move on.
Mm-hmm.
My God, this is gonna be. We got so many things to go through.
I'm sorry.
This one, it's a big week. The Acolyte. Am I even saying that right?
Yeah, that's right.
This is a fucking Star War. It takes place 100 years before the Phantom Menace.
Mm-hmm.
And my only thing I want to say is this looks exactly like every other fucking show.
It's supposed to be a little different. This one's supposed to be genre. So like the way that Andor was like genre, like it was an action heist one. It had a great prison thing. This is supposed to be
Right.
this is like their detective one. This is like before.
That's cool.
Yeah, so this is before the Sith have come back, and so it's like literally Jedi who are not like at this point cops. They're like literally just like a religious order trying to figure out like who's murdering them. I think spoilers. I think it's gonna be Palpatine, but like
Probably.
Yeah.
I really liked Andor, although I still have the same critique. Is Andor also took place in the same set? They're clearly using the same dusty Western set in every Star Wars show now. Like in The Mandalorian, there's like, here's a small planet town.
Dave, are you
In
sure?
Boba Fett.
That movie was like, it took place in entirely different places. There was a prison, there was a whole like other planet, there was like lush, and then there was like the town they lived in was
But
like
they
a brick
keep
planet.
going back to that town. That's what I'm saying, the town set. Every Star Wars has that town set. I'm not saying they didn't go other places.
Yeah.
But it feels like they keep going back to the dusty Star Wars town.
They all go back to Bonanza.
Yeah.
Yes, don't they? I loved Andor. Don't get me wrong. This is a very superficial critique. I just couldn't help notice that this one's like it's 100 years earlier,
Yeah.
and here's another one of those towns. And I'm like, I'm almost certain they're using the same town, and they're just trying to get their money's worth out of this one fucking town set.
And it's crazy. It's all in England, so who knows?
Right?
I did want to say, like, I haven't watched most of the recent Star Wars stuff. Like, I haven't seen Andor yet. I didn't see
What?
Obi-Wan. I haven't seen a lot of it.
All you have
But-
to do is see Andor. You have to watch Andor. It's so good. It's the only thing I would say you have to watch.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
And I like
Yeah.
Dan Gilroy. But what I'll say about this trailer for The Acolyte is I really like that this doesn't seem to be connected to any of the existing movies. Like
Yeah.
it seems like it's the first one that's genuinely its own thing. Like I
Yeah.
have no idea where this story is going to go. I mean, I assume it's about like the rise of the Sith, or like the first time they show up or something,
Yeah,
or maybe
first
not.
time-
I don't know Star Wars that well.
I just know what my boyfriend tells me. He does a lot of reactions for people who know a lot about Star Wars, and like, yeah, it seems like this is like, you know, when the X-Men did that horror one, they did what was it called? The New Mutants.
Oh, the New
or whatever.
Mutants.
New Mutants,
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
You know, but I think like the way that Andor worked, and you really need to see Andor, Tom. God, I can't believe this.
I will.
Yeah.
There's a 3-episode prison arc that's written by the guy who did House of Cards, Bo Willimon, that is absolutely incredible. Some of the best.
It's a
television.
fantastic show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think getting, they got a showrunner for this who has never seen Star Wars. Like
That's awesome.
Or maybe like the showrunner did, but she hired the main writer like that worked with her,
Okay.
has never seen Star Wars, and the woman's like, why do you want me on this project? She's like, I just need to know this is a good story regardless of my love of Star Wars. So like she needs someone in the writer's room who just was like, I thought it was about like there's a
George
dog in
Lucas
it.
could have used that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Sounds
the
like a few
writers.
people could use that person.
Well, it's also why The Watchmen worked, because like Cord Jefferson, who worked on The Watchmen, had never read The Watchmen, the TV show version that
Right.
Lindelof did, and I think it really benefited from like having a perspective of this totally different outlook of that universe. So I'm really looking forward to. Not saying I'm really looking forward to it, but like if it's as good as Andor, or even as third of a good as Andor, it'll be better than the rest of these freaking
Yeah, it's
Star Wars
tough.
shows.
I would. They vary. The shows vary like a TV show would, right? And like Andor, I think the magic sauce of Andor was that you feel like you were living in the Empire, and you felt
Yes.
you were like, this is what this is like.
This is rise of
now you
fascism.
fully realize is like why they're bad. So like the fact that this is 100 years before the Phantom Menace, I really want and I hope, and like I didn't see that in this trailer. I want them to explore what is the world of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Like, what is that? Like, Phantom Menace is kind of that, right? Which is like, we're on top of the world. This is like Jedi. And so I think I want more of that.
Yeah,
and so
you don't
that's all
really
to
get a
say
sense
that.
of them, though. They're just kind of
Yeah.
they're like these aloof
Cops. They're like weird cops, yeah.
priests,
Right.
sorcerers. Like they're just
Like-
very, yeah.
So
The video games kind of have this like ancient knight vibe
Mm-hmm.
to some of their early stuff. And I just hope they explore that a little more, because this trailer looks really good, but it didn't feel like it took place anywhere different.
And
It just looked like it was just, here's a Star Wars world. Like, we're in jungles, we're in old rundown towns, like
Well, do you want,
I
do you
just
want
hope
to be a
there's
sand planet?
more.
Do you want there to be a sand planet with a sandworm on it? Like what?
Yeah.
How many places are there to go? They did Water Planet. They did.
I want to see like more bustling cities and the height of this civilization
yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that.
Different
So I really-
kinds of cities, yeah.
Different types, yeah.
I did like
Shit
that.
that's
And Andor, I really did. Sorry, the Mon Mothma
Yeah.
city stuff, where it's like, oh, she's living in like modern times in the future. Like she gets cars and like they like
was
live.
awesome.
Yeah, she lived in like a
Yeah.
straight up House of Cards world. Like it was just modern day, but like cooler in the future. That's what I want to see more of. You're right. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
And I did, one of the things that I genuinely thought was cool about the prequels was getting to see like Naboo and whatever the capital city is. I forget.
Coruscant.
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 Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you
That's
see like the
something-
lower levels of Coruscant in episode 2 where it's kind of shitty and grind. Like it was cool to see more. of the
You should watch.
universe.
Yeah, Andor does that where if you ever wondered like what does an apartment look like on Coruscant, you get to see it. Like it's
What
shit
does
like
Blade Runner
that.
Look like in the Star Wars
Yeah.
world. Oh, we get that city. We get that night city.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's way more cyberpunk.
What does a prison look like in that world? It's awesome. It looks like.
Well, we've seen one, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this one looks like FTX or whatever that name of that. THX.
THX, yeah.
It's really cool. We're really cool. Can't speak enough highly about Andor. Rest of Star Wars.
Wars is really cool.
Yeah, the rest of
I
Star
got
Wars
nothing
is
else.
Whatever. Yeah.
Should we move on to this next trailer, the big event?
Oh man, yeah.
Harold and the purple
Harold
crayon.
and the purple.
With Zachary Levi.
Guys,
What is happening?
guys, I have such a specific story for this, which
Tell
is
it.
Go on.
I have recently started hanging out with Emma Tolkien, whose dad is Michael Tolkien, who wrote The Player and Deep Impact and a lot of other movies. He had done an original draft of Harold and the Purple Crayon like years ago. Like years and years ago, and apparently, and worked with Maurice Sendak on it, and like he is not not happy.
I'm sorry to interrupt you real quick. I feel like we should clarify. Harold and the Purple Crown is a very beloved children's book that has been adapted.
Yeah, and
now
it's like a
Zachary
little Charlie
Levi.
Brown kid, right?
Yeah, now it's Zachary Levi. For some reason.
Yeah, it's a little Charlie Brown looking kid with a magic crayon. It's a very simple children's book, if I recall.
Everything he
I've
draws
been-
with this Purple Crown comes to life. That's it. That's cool.
I've been watching Arrested Development, rewatching, and remember when Maybe becomes a fucking executive?
Yes.
They make jokes like this, where it's like Old Man in the Sea, make them young, make it all the. That's what this is. Where it's like Harold and the Purple Crown. Can we make him like an adult? Can it be a superhero movie? Let's do it. Let's greenline it. We'll get Zachary Levi.
Is he
That's
Harold?
what fucking happens. He's Harold.
He's Harold.
I thought Harold was a little boy because he seems to have two adult friends.
No, he's Harold.
That has inexplicably aged into adulthood within his storybook universe, and then uses his crown to cross over into our universe.
Wait, can I be honest? Wait, why are we doing this with Zachary Levi again? Like, he's already Shazam.
Nobody really cares for him. He came out as like a weirdo.
And he looks old. He doesn't. He's not like he doesn't have John Cena energy or anything. Like, there's no fun charisma to him. He's just like a really old Chuck.
And he looks like he's doing Shazam again. He's doing like I'm just a kid. Like he's doing the same bit where it's where he's like I'm a kid. There's like this meta thing where like the book is in the trailer, and I think after Barbie,
Jumanji, like is this a Jumanji?
I think this is a Barbie. I think after Barbie, there's going to be so many people who are going to be trying to show like Barbie is big, right? Barbie is a big deal. A movie about Barbie can be meta about how Barbie exists in our pop culture. Harold isn't that.
No.
And I feel like after Barbie, we're going to see so many movies try to be like, you know how you loved this and grew up and it really contributed. Like, I feel like I'm getting that vibe where it's like the legacy of Harold and the Purple Crayon.
Who is this for? Who is this for?
Nobody.
Because
it's not for anybody.
What Gen Z, like Gen Z still knows who Barbie is. What Gen Zer is like, oh my God, my childhood with Harold and the Purple fucking Crayon.
It took me until about 10 or 12 seconds into this trailer for me to remember that the book existed. I had that moment when I was watching this.
I can't. We haven't even described that he's an adult. Harold comes out of like
inexplicably grew
again.
Into
They're
adulthood.
doing yes. Well, again, it's a Barbie where he's coming from his world to like the real world with his crayon, right? And there's like a little kid who's like sarcastic and bouncing off of him,
and another adult man, inexplicably. I don't know if that's a friend of Zachary Levi or what's going on there. There's like a second guy.
I feel like this was written in a weekend after Barbie came out, and then they took a month to shoot it. Like that's the vibe I'm getting. But the IP isn't the same. It's not like a beloved toy, right? It's not. No, not at all.
It doesn't have the cultural cachet.
But it's acting like it does, right? Like they should have just made a cartoon. Yeah. Just make a Harold cartoon, like a kid's cartoon.
About a little boy who gets a magic crown that can... anything he draws comes to life, and how that becomes a problem for him. Gee, can we imagine how that could become an adventure for a little boy?
Well,
they're trying to do this like meta thing where they're like putting a twist on the premise that is barely a thing to begin with, where it's like you could just make a movie of this, right?
You know what we're gonna have? A triple year. This is gonna be like the Deep Impact that other volcano movie
Volcano.
Dante's. I thought it was Dante's.
Dante's Peak.
Dante's Peak
no,
in Volcano.
Sorry, Deep Impact Armageddon.
Movie, yeah.
So this is going to be the year of If, that Ryan Reynolds movie with the imaginary creatures. It's going to be the year of Imaginary, that horror movie that's like Blumhouse horror. If your imaginary friend was a horror bear, stuffed bear or something, and then there's going to be this movie, and it's just like, okay, we got it. Like the magical world of whimsy, and children have imaginations, but like they all kind of look the same. Like this and If specifically look like the same aesthetic. Like when he draws that little bug or whatever, it looks like something from If, which that has potential. I hate to say it, but I feel like that might have.
I've heard If is good from people that have seen it, but
yeah.
We're talking about Harold and the Purple Crown.
No, it's gonna be terrible.
Weird decision.
It feels like a subversion of something that doesn't exist yet.
They've been working on it forever. Like it's been a script
and what's
forever.
Why is there like a cool action girl too in it? Like what the? There's like a cast. There's like the girl with like the Sonic the Hedgehog hair. Is she a villain? What is happening in this trailer?
He has like characters that come through from his book with him, and that's who the other adult is.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I thought that was maybe his guardian or something. Like, I don't know, man. Why is he an orphan? Why is he hanging out with two grown men from an alternate dimension? I'm sorry, guys. I just saw Cry on set, and I really just am not comfortable with like children hanging out with adult men acting like
Nor
like
should
babies.
we. Yeah.
No, yeah.
This is it's just a nightmare. This trailer is a nightmare. Everybody should watch the trailer. Don't see the movie, but watch the trailer.
Yeah, it's Lil Rel trapped in a movie with Zachary Levi.
What was that? Okay, this is gonna be a weird tangent, but what was that book? It was almost like a riddle book. It was just one sentence long. It was like not the Curious Case of something.
The Curious Case of the Dog at Midnight or something?
No. It was like every page had a picture on it, a very evocative picture. Like this was around the Jumanji area. I think it was by the same Jumanji guy, and like just had a picture and then one sentence, and it would be like very creepy and spooky. It would be like a harp in the middle of a lake, and it would be like, some say it's been here the whole time, and like I don't know, it's flying nuns. It's a really weird picture book. That
Sounds like the Babadook.
Yeah, but it's like not supposed to be evil or like scary. It's just supposed to be like evocative and creepy, and like people have written longer form stories about these one sentence things. It's amazing, and I want them to make a movie about that. Make an anthology show about that book that like really like
about this book that I can't remember what it's called.
No, it's called the Lives of whatever. I'll figure it out later.
Okay.
All right, we'll do that
Feel free
instead.
to Google it. We'll move on to the next trailer.
I don't even know what I'd Google.
The book that I want, Harp
I
in a
don't
Lake.
have too much. I don't have too much to say about this next one, other than this trailer is an assault. It just keeps unfolding. It's just like, here's Robert De Niro, and you're like, okay. And then, by the way, this is for Ezra. That's the movie called. And then they're like, okay, cool. You used to Robert. Here's Rose Byrne. You're like, oh, okay. And then they're like, here's Vera Farmiga for like 1 second. Here's Rainn Wilson. Here's Whoopi Goldberg. Directed by fucking Tony Goldwyn.
He's also in it.
Ezra.
And
who's in it?
Yeah, the book is called The Mysteries of Harris Burdick, by the way.
Okay.
I think we got that.
Nice.
This is
Go check that out. But I can't tell like if you're saying that that's a good thing or bad thing that this cast is so stacked, because it kind of looks like Silver Lining Playbook kind of vibes or something.
It's not a bad thing. It's just more like
is a stand-up comedian with an autistic child named Ezra, and he has to travel cross country to do the Jimmy Kimmel show, but has to decide whether it's worth it to sacrifice the attention to his son and the what that could do to his son in order for his career. It seems like one of those big old dramas with a big old cast.
Yeah, it's like it's good thing or bad thing. Make you cry, not make you cry.
It looks quirky. It looks like it might make you cry. For me, it's like it could go either way.
Yeah.
I'm just more distracted by the fucking cast. Also, imagine going back, I don't know, 15 years and saying that there would be like this emotional comedy where the goal of the character is to be on the Jimmy Kimmel show. Mm-hmm. And like just being like the fucking Win Ben Stein's money guy, really? Like that's so weird to me that's like the thing, the dream that he's going for. But yeah, what do you guys think, Drew? What do you think of this?
I think that Tony Goldwyn's grandfather has the best name that was ever changed for Hollywood, which was Samuel Gelbfiz, but there's 2 Z's and they're not what you think. It is
2 Z's?
2 Z's and Samuel Gelbfiz.
I didn't think there was going to be 1 Z.
Nope. There's a Z in the second letter. The A, there's instead of an A, there's a Z. It's like the definition of changed your name on the boat right over. And that made me realize that Tony Goldwyn was Jewish. I'm Jewish. That's not like a weird statement or anything. I just like never thought about him like that.
I didn't know until I didn't connect until like last year or 2 years ago that he's Samuel Goldwyn's son or grandson.
Yeah. It took Barbara Streisand at the at the whatever awards recently that Netflix was airing, the Screen Actor Guild Awards or whatever, telling stories out of school where she was talking about Samuel Goldwyn and said his name, like his original name, and I was like, what the hell? Wait, what? That's such a. But it's Tony Goldwyn. What do we like him or not? Like he's from.
I love Tony Goldwyn.
Tony Goldwyn.
Yeah.
It's like the. It's a shorthand for the audience that this guy's a bad guy. Is when you throw Tony Goldwyn in the movie.
And
this just it
From
to me.
Ghost on, he's just got bad guy face.
no, he's
Right.
not. He's the President Scandal. I think that's where most people are younger than us would remember him from. He's
That's
like
true,
the
yeah.
President Fritz from Scandal. But Bobby Cannavale and Rose Byrne aren't they real life married? They're real life married.
Oh, okay, that makes a little more sense.
Yeah.
Because to me, this trailer felt
they?
like a randomizer. It felt like they just took a computer and randomized a series of like actors and plot. And it looks good. Like it looks very personal. I assume it is. I bet it's very touching and good. I just couldn't get over the slow, like the slow reveal of who's in it.
Yeah.
It just weirded me out, man. And then just seeing directed by Tony Coldwin at the end, I just felt like I was having a stroke.
It feels
That's
very
all.
much. It feels very much of that earnest '90s movie of like like a ghost, if you will. I guess that's recombining Whoopi and Tony Goldwyn,
Whoopi and
right?
Tony,
and
yeah,
like,
yeah.
but Bobby Cannavale is just such a great, fantastic actor. If you've never seen him in that like season of Boardwalk Empire or like many of the other things he's done, The Station Agent,
Yeah.
he's really good. Like I know he plays a bad guy a lot, but like he's so good as like a dramatic, sort of tragic figure. I could totally see him like killing this role, but I won't see it because it seems sad and like dealing with issues.
It's gonna be.
I don't wanna
I
feel bad.
actually don't think it's going to be sad. I think it's going to be the idea is I mean, it seems like they say it in the trailer. He's not going to go on Jimmy Kimmel. He's going to snub Kimmel to be with his son, and it'll just be like I don't think anybody's going to die. Maybe Robert De Niro, but like
Well, why is he being invited on? Is it to do a Joker? Is he doing like a like a thing where he's just coming on to like talk about
I think he's just a comedian,
He's a stand-up
and they're
comedian,
like,
looks like,
Oh,
yeah.
he is. Oh, I thought he was putting his son on. I thought the
No,
son
no,
was
no.
getting the invite. I was like, that's so weird.
yeah, and so I think the idea is it's going to be like your dream versus your, and again, that's why it's so funny to me that like the dream is just to be on Jimmy Kimmel. That's I don't know. That seems like such low stakes to me.
You know what? I don't think that's going to be the case then because Kimmel's got like all those family value things going on. I think he'll actually want to be in the movie. So I don't think the reveal is going to be that he turns down the appearance because I think Kimmel will.
I think we'll get a.
Yeah.
I think we'll get a Kimmel cameo. I think it'll be a Kimmel-o. Yeah.
Kimmel-o.
I think that's the idea is like Kimmel will be lurking. He'll be looming over this film, and then we'll be like, oh, there's Kimmel.
Yeah, we got him.
That's my guess.
Yeah, there he was.
I like
Got
it,
my money's
like
worth.
There's Kimmel. I'm fighting with my family. It was the movie that came to mind when I thought of like the premise of this is like, maybe it's like, he's the big thing that they're aiming for, and maybe they'll get there, maybe they won't, but he's going to be in it. God damn it, Kimmel's going to be in it.
Yeah, I think he'll be in there. Any other thoughts?
I was just gonna say the reveal of the cast, like how the names just keep. It's like getting beaten up by an acting class.
Yeah,
It's
it
like,
is.
Stop,
It really
I'll
is.
see it. I'll see it, please.
They have so many people.
I couldn't tell the note you left. You were like, oh my god, the reveal of these actors, and when I was watching it, I just was like, oh no, this means that I won't see it, like because there's too many dramatic actors. This feels like an Apollo 13 or a Forrest Gump, and that's just not my bag, baby.
This next one, this is the greatest hits. This is, I think, one of those premises that I was like, oh, of course. It's about a woman whose boyfriend, who seems like a dick, but apparently isn't, died. And then she can travel back in time by listening to records. And she can travel back in time basically like it's nostalgia, right? You listen to a record, you go, that brings me back.
Yeah.
Somebody was like, oh, what if it literally brings you back?
It's like About Time. It's kind of like the plot of About Time where like you can go visit the past, but you can't really change anything. And it seems like less about the sci-fi. That's just like the device to explore like themes of loss.
It's a very loud metaphor because she asks in the trailer, like, if I could go back and save him, but it would mean that we would never meet. So it's like, when a relationship ends or when you lose somebody, this is more about loss. When you lose somebody, very often, sometimes you'll find yourself wishing that you never knew them at all because then it would save you from that pain.
Can I tell you
This
something?
is-
I cried. I cried watching this trailer.
Oh, no.
I cried, and things don't really get to me that much. But like I not even the music stuff so much. But like I spend a lot of time thinking about like past lately and just reflecting on life stuff. And like this just felt very like
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
I got you. I've been there.
It's fine. It's just, I wasn't angry at this. It was just so obvious that I was like, why didn't someone make this already? And then also, like, I feel like I know the entire film, which
Really?
is like they even show like, oh, here's this other guy, and she's interested with him, and it's like, why are you living in the past? You like, it's clearly about nostalgia and mourning and moving on, right? And so you kind of know, like, okay, I know what it's about, and therefore I kind of know what the message is going to be. And like I don't think she's going to save her boyfriend. Like, she's going to let him go and move on and date this other guy, or she's going to learn that you can't change the past. I think I put in the notes, I think she should listen to the Jurassic Park soundtrack and fight dinosaurs. I think that would be an amazing thing.
No, she'd go back to 93, which
She'd
it
go
has
back to
to be
93,
her memory of seeing it. And
Right.
by the way,
rules.
by the
Okay.
way, if I did that,
Wait.
I'd be amazing. Like, I would just be 9 years old, so obsessed. I used to listen to that soundtrack every night going to bed, so
Yep.
I know exactly
I would,
what
Okay,
I would,
wait.
I would make my parents put it on while we were like eating dinner. I just listened to it constantly.
But
So it's not the fun rules. Like, so she can't listen to like an old German record and kill Hitler.
No,
is what
yeah,
I'm
no.
hearing.
So,
Damn.
but like, have you seen About Time? Like, because that movie was really subversive in the way that it seemed like it was a time travel movie that was going to play with the mechanics and be about like him just going over and over and trying to get the girl, and then became like it veered right and became like this very heartwarming sort of meditation on like losing a like the loss of a parent and like being able to go back for a certain amount of time, and you know, but like the birth of your new child is going to like mess it up, so you have to choose one or the other. And like, I don't know, that movie was really brilliant and really touching and surprising. So I feel like this could be like that, or it could veer in a totally different direction. But her original statement of that would mean that we never met makes me think that she is going to be successful in doing something, but it would have to be like a butterfly effect ending, or then like they don't know each other. She'll like go into a future or like a present where they just never met.
I hope it does something like that. By the way, Tom, did you recognize this woman?
Yeah, she's from Sing Street.
Yeah, we just watched Sing Street.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great movie.
Yeah.
Her dead boyfriend's new Superman.
Oh,
my
shit,
God.
he is.
He's that doofus that gets killed in Pearl. Whoops, I
Oh my
spoiled some
God.
of Pearl.
Oh, can I be honest? I thought that guy, when I first saw him in Pearl, I was like, that's the hottest man I've ever seen. He looks like Superman. That was the first thought I
There you
had.
go.
Nailed it. You nailed it.
Nailed it. I said it out loud in a theater. And, and then when they came through, my boyfriend was like, are you a witch? And I was like, no, I'm just really on point with this.
Oh, that's awesome.
Sorry, I love Pearl. I
Should we keep
overstand
going?
that movie. Yep.
Yeah, I got nothing else. The Listener. There's only one real big thing about this one to me, which is that the reveal that it's directed by Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, he hasn't directed anything in a while, I don't think.
Not
Yeah.
since Trees Lounge? Is that
That's the last one I remember, but that doesn't necessarily mean he hasn't made anything since because that was a while ago.
He did some Boardwalk Empire episodes, I believe. Like, again, going back to Boardwalk. So he directed some TV. Yeah, man, like, this looks good. It's, again, I feel like we're going back to this 90s, like, mid-90s Good Will Hunting era, just like, we're going back to the quiet dramas. I mean, I'm cool with
Yeah,
that.
just real quickly, this is about Tessa Thompson is a crisis hotline operator who works the night shift, and it really does seem like it's just these long meditative scenes where she's the only character on screen, and we're just watching her listen to these conversations and speak to these people.
Yeah. As you can probably assume, a lot of cameos. It looks like
I
a lot
bet.
of like
Yeah,
Rebecca
yeah.
Hall,
All the different voices
Logan
on the
Marshall
phone.
Green. Yeah.
I bet this was a play. How much do you want to bet this was a play before it was a movie?
Oh, I can believe
maybe.
it.
Because Buscemi
Wait.
is also a big theater guy, so yeah, I bet.
Yeah. We talked about this in a previous podcast because we covered like the Sean Penn cab one that looked like a bad version of this.
Yeah, it looks like a bad version of a
Daddy-O?
cloying
Yeah.
version of this.
Yeah, Daddy-O. But this is like, I just feel like now they have, it's just weird because it feels like all these movies are way more indie than they used to be because no one's making them, but the actors will still want to do them.
Of course.
Does that make, yeah, so
it's the accolades. It's the Academy Award nomination thing. Where
Right.
This has like become the thing where it's like instead of doing the genre film, so you get like the credit of being like, you know, the Hammer horror guy or being whatever. Like now you do or like what used to be mainstream dramas, like during the Weinstein era, to get your like you know, your Killers of the Flower Moon credit.
Yeah.
You know. But it's weird. It's I mean, it's not weird. I love Buscemi. I love the idea of this. I love the idea of like going back to dramas being indie because that means that people have to spend more time on them and like actually make them good instead of like sappy. Like yeah, like the '90s era of it was just so sappy to me that I just never like it never connected.
yeah. Yeah, I bet this is going to be good. It's a, one person stuff is very hard for me. Like, get like 4 people. Like, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf is a movie that I find, for many reasons, riveting, and it's just 4 people.
Pontypool?
It's Pontypool. Yeah, like you can make just a bunch of people in the room and make it riveting. It's just, it's a challenge.
It's a challenge.
Repulsion, though, like you get the right actor or actress, and you can make a oneer like Repulsion's one, like the one. What was it?
I have not seen Repulsion.
Oh, really? What about the one with Colin Farrell? He's in a phone booth. Was it called Phone Booth?
Phone
it was
booth.
called Phone Booth, but there's actually a lot.
There's
of
more to Phone
characters
Booth.
in
Yeah,
Phone Booth.
Sure. And there might be somebody that shows up here. I'm just saying, like, it's basically a one.
Well, yeah, but I saw, but like I saw the Ryan Reynolds movie Buried.
Yes, yeah.
Where it's just
I
him in
haven't
the
seen
casket. Whole movie.
It kind of
Such a good
this
metaphor.
isn't like to insult this movie, but Tessa Thompson's character seems kind of just normal in the trailer, and so like I'm like, man, I hope there's more to it. You know what I mean?
I
like,
imagine there's going to be.
Well, who decides to do this for a living? Just stay in their room all day and listen to other people like do crisis hotline. Like that's its own kind of let's unpack this, Especially because Buscemi was like during 9/11, he was like he just put on like his fireman.
He's a volunteer firefighter, yeah.
Yeah, and he just went down to like ground zero. So I mean, like I don't know, like there's something there about like the public good or doing something selfless. But what kind of mentality or what kind of personality makeup it takes to just compulsively do that or to want to do that? Because
I hate to be dark about it. It means that there's at least one person out there whose last dying thought was, "Is that Steve Buscemi?"
Oh my
like
God.
that's got to be weird, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he was there the moment it happened, probably. So
No, but like saving people and like,
Yeah.
like
Pulling
imagine
somebody
getting
out of the road.
saved and being like, "Is that fucking Steve Buscemi saving me?"
What's crazy to me is, and it's a dark thought too, is like how is he still healthy? Because like no one else who was down there during that period of time is not without
Well,
one problem.
he's rich. He's got that rich person
He's
magic.
got that Buscemi cash. That's
Yeah.
What do you think he's rich?
it's a legendary treasure in Hollywood.
I keep
a big
thinking about
game
it.
show called Buscemi Cash.
Like that's
I
what I
want
want to
that.
know. He's like character actor. He doesn't really. I mean, he started in Boardwalk, but how much money do you think he has? I was thinking about this on Walking the Dogs the other day.
I think
Like,
he's
do you think
probably fine.
fine, but like exactly how much money do you
I
think?
don't know.
You know,
Like-
Google exactly how
He's
much
he's been
money.
acting steadily for 30 years.
Do you think he's made investments in New York real estate?
with
Do you think
major
he's...
roles in big movies? I don't know, man. I assume he's probably got some money.
I mean,
Yeah.
his net worth is apparently $35 million. Although net worth is
Oh my
like one of the
God.
most.
They think Cody's worth millions.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
I'm worth $500,000 according to the internet. For no
That's
reason.
amazing.
Exactly.
I wish.
Yeah,
All
where
right,
is
let's
it?
talk
Will you send
about-
it to me? Is somebody
like-
holding it for me?
But I'm also 53 years old, so the trade-off there on the internet is really bad. Yeah, it's like I have to do like one of those demon choices, devil's bargain. 53, but I have $500,000.
Yeah, you have to make the about time.
Right, that's not even that much money.
Right.
Well, not especially if we're jumping forward into the future, where I would be 53 and the world is just a shelled-out apocalypse. We're doing
Like,
Mad
I mean,
Max.
don't get me wrong. I'd love to have that much money when I'm 53, but it's just like exactly what you're saying, which is like, but everything sucks, and that'll probably be like, that's just like the cost of a burger.
Yeah, and also like personally, I don't appreciate that I have to go to job interview, or I had to go to job interviews for like a good 2 years, where everyone's like, why would you want to work, and also don't you like qualify for AARP or something? Like it seemed like everyone had Googled my name before an interview and was like, oh, well, she's worth $500,000 and she is 52 years old or whatever. I was just like,
It's
no.
like Google is trying to sabotage you.
Yeah, Google or some, yeah,
Yeah.
it's like Google.
Let's talk about this next one.
Yeah.
Sweet
Let's.
Dreams.
Let's.
This is like
Johnny
Bad News Bear.
Knoxville.
Yeah.
Doing 28 days. Not 28 days later, 28 days.
So-
28 days, yeah.
This is I want to describe to people what this is first before they guess what the genre is, because this is about a alcoholic who needs to get clean, and so he has to coach a softball team of misfits. And they call their team Sweet Dreams, and they got to win the game. Would you believe that it's more of a dramedy? Like, that's what was to me the weirdest thing about this.
Yeah.
Like, that's a zany comedy, right?
seeing it
He
right
doesn't
here.
get whaled in the balls
He
once.
does. He does.
Does he?
Somebody gets whaled in the balls, and then he says, "I felt that."
Oh, okay. I missed that.
I thought for a second, I was like, "Is this the lady? Are they just doing like a better Lady Ballers? Is this?" I was like, I don't know. Maybe I've been influenced by watching some more news or something. But I was like, they're just going to do a Lady Ball. We're just going to have like another or basketball or something. Like putting Johnny Knoxville in a sports movie seems like you're going in a certain direction.
It's the trope premise of all the 80s teen comedies, right? Where it's the clubhouse of misfits. Oh, we're going to lose our clubhouse. We have to pull together and win the big game or do the big talent show, do the one big thing to win the money to save our clubhouse.
And then it's also the bad news.
Yeah, it's bad news.
Yeah,
Hardball. It's Mighty Ducks.
Mighty Ducks.
But like, the fact that this is so earnest is like, again, just like what we were just saying. Like it's
kind of like the way back with Ben Affleck. Like it's an addiction drama interwoven into this kind of zany misfit sports comedy.
Yeah, and
but the trailer's not that zany. We keep saying zany, and it's not really.
Yeah, that's
the
thing.
Is zany.
The premise is zany. Yeah, exactly.
The broad strokes is premise. Again, if you said Johnny Knoxville in a movie about a misfit group of softball players, you would picture that, right? As like, oh, he's going to be hurting himself a lot, and like you picture that in your mind as being like a zany basketball.
I'm picturing Chris Pontius in like a crotchless mascot costume.
Right. Looking at
the What Hot American Summer team scene where they go and play the other team, and then they just give a big rousing speech and decide to go home. Like
right. If you Google Google the poster to this, and you imagine that, right? Because it's this. But I mean, I don't know about you guys. I am into this. I'm like, okay, let's.
You can tell that he cares about it. He's had friends who died of drug addiction and stuff like that. You could just really feel that this is probably a role that he felt was important to take. I don't know who directed it. Did he direct it?
I don't.
No, it's some person I've never heard of. But I mean, here's judging from this trailer, I don't think this will be the movie. But after watching this, I was like, go for the Oscar, Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah.
Like,
let's do it. Let's do it.
Like, make us all pay. 10 years from now, I want to be like, who would have thought that Johnny Knoxville would be given the get best actor or best director or whatever?
Yeah.
In the Fred Durst movie. Let's make it a Fred Durst movie.
I mean,
starring Johnny Knoxville.
You're really trying to clear up your bingo card, Dave. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I was about to say that it is kind of like, like getting that Michael Showalter shout out by Jessica Chastain for The Eyes of Tammy Faye, where it's like, oh, that's the first member of the state that got a Oscar nomination, Like, but I like that. And I've been shitting on the idea of earnestness and Earnestness Goes to Christmas or whatever, goes home. No, now I'm just saying earnest movies. I like the idea of a return to earnestness, the importance of being earnest, if you will.
Yes.
But I do think that's a nice thing for this time because what it means is it's going to be a character study. These are all, what we're essentially saying is these are all character studies that have different spectrum of absurdity premises. You get to listen to music and go visit your old boyfriend. You got to take your autistic kid to Jimmy Kimmel. Like you got to, stay at home and listen to a crisis phone line, and you got to be in an addiction recovery center teaching these kids baseball. Like, but they're all just character dramas.
They're adults. Let's make it clear. Yeah. It's a bunch of grown-ups playing this softball game.
Really? I thought it was a kid league.
They're adults, right?
No, those are adults.
Oh, I'm getting confused.
It's all the people in the halfway house, or not the halfway house, but like a recovery house.
I thought I saw a kid in there. Maybe I'm confusing it from the end of Lady Ballers.
I think his daughter is there. Like that's part of his. He's like, I want to. Man, there's a line in this trailer. Johnny Knoxville is saying, "I want to get sober." To prove to my daughter that I'm a good man and be her hero. It's like this fucking brutal shit to hear Johnny Knoxville saying.
Yeah.
He's lived a hard life, man.
I know. He talks about it a lot.
I mean, when I remember even in my 20s watching Jackass and looking at these groups and going like, this is not going to end well. It'll I mean, for some of them it may, some of them it wouldn't, and that's exactly what happened, right? Where it's just like,
shockingly, most of them look all right.
I mean, short-term 12 because they're rich because they probably have net worth of billions of dollars. It reminds me of like short-term 12. You guys remember that? Like that movie was so hyper earnest. It starred Brie Larson. It's about the people who made Captain Marvel. It's like the husband and wife couple, but it's got Rami Malek, Brie Larson, John Gallagher Jr. It's just like a movie set in Caitlin Dever, and it's a movie set at Keith Stanfield. I'm just gonna keep saying names. Everyone's in this movie, but it was before a lot of them were famous. It's set in like a foster kid home, and they're just social workers or like case workers who are taking care of these kids, and are just really it's just a small like scope film that has a lot of emotional depth to it because you really feel for every single character. It's just like performances just stand out, and it's super sad, but really, so I think it's my boyfriend's favorite film of all time. Like it's a really beautiful message.
What film?
It's called Short Term 12.
Okay.
Yeah, check it out.
I'll check it out.
It's Lakeith Stanfield's first role. He's like 18 in it or something.
Oh,
Yeah,
wild.
Yeah.
Then check out the trailer for Sweet Dreams, which has all that pathos plus Johnny Knoxville accidentally getting them uniforms that say Sweet Creams.
Sweet creams. We love that sweet
It's
cream.
both of those things somehow.
And him watching someone get hit in the balls. See, that's how you know it's growth of a
Oh, weird.
It is no longer his balls are no longer the ones getting rocked.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, next trailer, Parasyte the Gray. Parasyte spelled wrong. They spelled it wrong.
Maybe you spelled it wrong.
And this is, I assume it's based off a comic. This is a TV series. It is, they flaunt this, and so it's not created by, but it is basically some of the writers, one of the writers is the writer of Train to Busan, and also the director of Train to Busan. And Peninsula, the other writer, the writer of that is also involved. This looks fucking gnarly as shit. It's about it's basically everybody's Venom. Yeah. Like this woman gets like a Venom virus, and then there's all these like weird aliens, and their heads kind of burst out. It gives me yeah, I was gonna say that, or a little bit of honestly our pal Jason, a little John dies at the end feeling to it for some reason.
Yeah.
Where their heads like burst open, and my favorite detail is that their eyeballs are intact and stay on these little little antennas. And it's this lady with like her parasite power fighting them.
I think she can control hers, or like the idea is that she's more of a symbiotic parasite. I haven't read it, but would it surprise you to know that this is considered one of the more cerebral, dramatic mangas, horror mangas, to fit the theme of this week?
That's amazing.
Sweet.
Yeah, I mean, but it also looks like totally fucking nuts. I'm hoping it's like an Attack on Titan level worthy.
I do like that it's kind of from the point of view of the invading little monsters too. Mm-hmm. Like it's about like, oh, the humans are gonna try to track us down and eradicate us. They're getting good at figuring out which ones of us are mimics, and that's a cool idea. Also, I have to admit, for like the first, because I think you maybe like my brain did a dyslexia thing and just corrected it, but like I read it as just normal Parasyte. So I thought it was connected to the film Parasyte. And in the first 7 seconds, somebody's head explodes. So I was like, oh, this is something different.
It would have been a hell of a sequel.
If I read the Wikipedia, again, no spoilers, it just says it explores philosophical and psychological questions such as the meaning of humanity, the role of instinct in love, and the inherent anthropomorphism of morality. Could be about a Parasite movie. Could be the same thing.
I think there's going to be a lot to it. It's a whole series. And I can see this being a series, or at least, it's probably a mini series. I don't know.
It's the 3 Parasite problem is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. God damn that fucking... I just love how weird everything's gotten. Like pop culture, like it was always going to be this way. And I love that this can exist.
Yeah.
Like because of CG, like this, I think it's not the best looking CGI, but this is what I would call this is what I like when CGI is used to do something weird. And like you mentioned Resident Evil, this isn't like the weirdest thing in the world, but it's weird enough that I enjoy it. I really like the aesthetic and weirdness of her using like her weird tentacle to like fight these creatures with exploding heads. And it's like, this is just weird and fun. I don't know.
Do you know that this was actually already a Toonami show? There was already an anime. They adapted this anime. There's been 2 live action movies in Japan. There was already an anime show about this. This is just like a continuation. That I think that's why it has the like colon in it, because this is like it's a continuation or a prequel of the series.
Okay.
Because the series was about a boy like who becomes like Venom friends with his symbiote or whatever. So this is like a
Interesting.
there's a different, like set in the same world but different. I love it. I love that the themes of it are, if I'm just reading the genre right, body horror and like, yeah, moral, philosophical, like quandaries.
Hell yeah.
Love it. Emotionally, like devastating, like pandering, like ponderance of man and our role in the universe, but also like straight up Cronenberg body horror.
Yeah, just a bunch
Yeah.
of squidbillies looking at the trolley problem.
Yeah. And
Yeah, it's like a good place.
yeah.
The needs of the many.
It's funny. I don't even see it as body horror, and I think that's because of the CGI. Like it's such an effortless transition.
It's so
like,
scary looking though. You can't imagine like.
Oh,
falling
it's
in love with
freaky
them.
looking.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Let's talk about this final trailer.
Let's do it.
Let's crack this nut. This is Poolman.
Oh, boy.
Now this is written, co-written, and directed and starred in by Chris Pine, who, boy, I love Chris Pine. He is such a fucking maniac. And no one, like Hollywood was like, you're the pretty boy. You're the new Kirk. You're next superhero. And he's like, no, I just want to be a weird little freak. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And then he stripped down naked
like a
and ran
loose
out of the
cat.
building.
He's
Yeah.
Running around through Hollywood.
He's a hot man, but like with the brain of Barry Keoghan or something.
I
Like
love
American Barry Keoghan. He's just a weird little freak boy.
He's such a weird little freak,
beautiful,
Chris Pine.
feral man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so he made this movie with fucking Annette Bening, who I fucking love.
She's great, yeah.
Jennifer Jason Leigh,
Who
and
I
Danny
fucking love.
DeVito. Yeah. Danny DeVito, Ray Wise is in this.
Oh my god, I did not see Ray Wise in this. Maybe I looked away.
Apparently he's in it.
Holy
and
shit.
and this is all to say this movie is not getting good reviews.
I don't care. You just named.
I don't care either.
You just named Chris Pine. You telling me this movie has Chris Pine, Jennifer Jason Leigh, and the dad from Twin Peaks? I am in.
Yeah. This is, again, it's not Kirk Chris Pine, it's Stretch Chris Pine. It's Smoking Aces Chris Pine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a little freak Chris Pine. It is a film noir.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
It's apparently like a bunch of film noirs squished together. He plays a pool boy
Yeah.
who I guess so. I thought this was funny. He cleans one pool in a shitty apartment building that apparently only he swims in. So that's
Like
his
Big
job.
Lebowski. Like,
Yeah.
I like it. So it's an LA noir. I couldn't tell if they were in LA.
It's an LA
is, yeah.
noir. It's a Big Lebowski for sure.
Jennifer Jason Leigh is on such a comeback tour. Like if you saw that new season of Fargo, she's
Not yet,
just
I will.
crushing it. And I love her so much. And Ray Wise, I mean, come on. There's no way this movie can be bad. It's kind of how I feel about that Lucy in the Sky movie that I never saw, which is by the guy who did Fargo. But everyone says it's terrible, but he made Fargo. How bad could it be? He made Legion. How bad could it be?
I think some of the best artists make very big swings.
Yeah.
And that means that you're going to miss sometimes. So
Yeah.
I can kind of believe it. Tom, you've heard about some
I'd heard
reviews of
has
this.
been making the rounds for about a year in festivals and stuff, so I know people who've already seen it. I've heard it's like Greasy Strangler level anti-comedy.
Yeah, so I'm
Great.
going to love it.
Great. Yeah, it's like the Heidecker or like Neil Hamburger movies, whatever. They're not their own cinema characters, but like they're the actual movies they made, the comedian and whatever the Heidecker one was. It's like hard to watch because it's not what you're expecting. You come in thinking it's gonna be one kind of movie, and then it turns out like anti-comedy is a hard sell when you come in expecting something else. But I imagine that there's something about this movie I'm really going to enjoy.
Yeah, my hope is this is a movie I like and that I will totally understand when other people tell me they hate it. You know what I mean?
Like Fire Walk with Me. It totally misunderstood in its time. Another Ray Wise joint. Or Hudsucker Proxy. I mean, there's so many movies where people did not like it when it came out, and maybe they just need some more time to realize how much of a genius Chris Pine is.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out.
He'll be the last person remembered during this era. Like 200 years from now, they won't know Obama's name, but they'll know Chris Pine's. I'm telling you.
It's going to be Chris Pine and Harry Styles. It's just going to be half the cast of Don't Worry, Darling.
Don't Worry, Darling.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know what to say about this. It's just the fucking I guess it's a weird noir. It's very like I saw a review saying that it's a big inside joke that they don't let the audience in on.
I love that. That's my favorite that's my favorite genre of stuff. It's like, this is some weird anti-comedy shit.
I have to see Poolman. Jesus. You can even tell from the trailer. You're like, there's the vibes on this is weird.
Yeah.
It's got weird vibes. Or like, I mean, didn't Under the Silver Lake get bad reviews?
It's
And
got
I really like that
terrible
movie.
Yeah.
Reviews, but
And that's a great fucking movie.
not only is it a great movie, but it's an unsolvable ARG. Like there are codes and cryptographs and everything hidden in that movie that
Yeah, you love them.
Yeah, well, and you can solve it to a certain point, but they got the guy to make the cryptographs who solved the fucking Caesar cipher, which was like several hundred years old. So he made it too hard,
Amazing.
and so we like people on this Reddits and stuff. They've gotten to a certain point of figuring it out. Like we can follow some of the codes, but then it just trail leads dead because he made it too hard. And I love that about it. Or else it's unsolvable, kind of like the movie itself. But
Yeah.
that's my favorite kind of like weird noir. If you're gonna do an Inherent Vice, like I'd rather it not be 3 hours long. I'd rather it have like weird little clues and like just be
Get in, get out.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
let's move on.
All right. Let's thank some more producers, starting with Psychic Bigfoot.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you.
Thank you to David Knife Boot Hansen. Big weekend for Knife Boots.
Beat.
Thank you to Deborah is awesome. Barbara is great, and cancer can go to hell. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to Dracula, the bus driving vampire. Thank you to Driftless, God Emperor of Hype. Thank you for watching Lair of the White Worm. You're welcome.
Oh, yes.
Thank you to Ed Nog. Thank you. Thank you to Exploding Runes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to Funky J. Mostly comes out at night. Mostly.
Thank you.
Thank you to Heathcliff's Helping Handfuls.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you to Hey Tom. When are we getting a sequel to Stitches?
Hey,
Thank
thanks.
you.
Let me swoop in here. Thank you to Ombre.
Thank
Thank you
you.
to ImpossibleWorlds.net. Issue 3 is out now. Gorge yourself on our fiction. Gorge.
Thank
Thank you
you.
to Jay the Crow Baron says, build a guillotine in rich people's yard. 2024.
Thank you.
Thank you to Chris Shanovich.
Thank you.
Thank you to Lieutenant Frank Drebin, Police Squad.
Thank
Thank you to Look
you.
Mime on a podcast.
Thank
Thank you to Mackenzie
you.
Fuck Shuffling with Willem Dafoe's confusingly large dick. Chill.
Thank
Thank
Thank you to
you.
Mercurial Oz.
Thank
Thank you to
you.
Mike the Hell Diver. And thank you to Mongolian Throat Skanking.
Thank you.
Are you guys allowed to change names for your producers? Are they allowed to change names every
Yeah,
once
they
in a while?
change their names frequently, actually. Some of them have.
Yeah.
It's a really
Yeah.
good perk. It's a really good perk.
Yeah, I
guys.
mean,
Great perk.
for people, producers out there who want to change your names, the change happens as fast as I do. So, send those messages. I'll get around to it. That's how we work around here.
Yep.
Should we talk about news stories?
I guess so.
They're making another live action Popeye. Yeah, why
Sure.
not? Fuck it. Straight to hell. Let's go straight to
Go
hell.
straight to hell, man. Let's ride this all the way
Yeah.
down.
The original was so weird. Like I had never understood. Like the Altman movie creeped me out as a kid. Like
It's
why?
legendarily weird.
It's just why? Why did they do that? So if
And it was-
anything that.
I'm sorry. Finish your thought.
No, I was gonna say like whatever they do with this Popeye can't be as weird of a choice as doing that Popeye the way they did it with Robert Altman.
I mean, I was
I
going
am
to say...
con-
Oh, sorry.
No, you say.
The thought
Tom
that I
goes.
had was it feels like it was the best case scenario back with the Altman movie because they had Robin Williams in Popeye fake prosthetic arms doing as good a Popeye impression as you're going to get from somebody.
Yeah.
But, like-
Sometimes I think the batshit, like, I still think the 93 Super Mario's is the best
Best.
version of Super Mario you can
Yes.
have.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Where it's like, let's just go, again, ride this fucking crazy worm straight to hell.
Right.
Not
Let's
ironically, it's the best one. Not even best
Yeah,
Mario,
let's just
but
make
like,
it weird.
Yeah, best video game adaptation, I would say. Like it's just
I think,
bonkers.
yeah. I want to reiterate the way the Lego movie did what it did, the Barbie movie is going to do this to us, right? We're going to get, after Barbie movie, we're going to get so many studios going, all right, let's greenlight a live action version of X and Y and let's make it like meta and weird. And like, I think studios going to try to lean into it.
But
I
I think I see this on a different like paradigm than you do, Dave, because I agree with you, but I don't think I think Barbie was indicative of just like a trend that was already happening. Making the live action version or making a more adult version of like, Sonic the Hedgehog, whatever. Like the IP stuff has been going on for such a long time, the mining of your childhood, that this is just like, I guess Barbie's just like the toy equivalent. Now Mattel can do it to Polly Pocket and all these things.
Oh
Like,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna get more toy shit.
Yeah.
You're right that we've been doing this for a while. I just think, I guess it's more of a hope because we did this live action thing, right? We did that Popeye in the 80s and 90s, and then we said, okay, let's not do that ever again. Like we sort of soured on it,
Yes,
and now we're
yeah.
kind of circling back to it. And now Barbie has shown, like, not only can you do it, you can get nominated for an Oscar.
Unless you're Greta
and
Gerwig.
so, yeah. But that's all to say, like, I kind of like that they're like, fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah.
It's from the screenwriter of Sexy Beast
Sure.
That's perfect.
and The
Perfect.
Sopranos. And I'm like, all right, yeah.
You know what? Why though? Am I missing something about Popeye? Like, was there something dark and seedy about Bruto and Wimpy and all these characters? Because, like,
I mean, there's something dark and seedy about Popeye.
I guess he's a man who eats spinach just to beat the shit out of people, but like,
He's just a grimy old sailor.
he's not quite a comic book hero. I guess I assumed he was because he has a superpower and whatever. But no, he's a comic strip hero. That's different. It's more of a Marmaduke.
It's another where it's like, I'm not sure who this is for.
What world is this in? In what?
Yeah.
It's when they used to make comic strips about just like people your dad knew.
It's like,
Like Andy Cap.
yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
Doonesbury. It's just gonna be
Check
some weird
out this
political
guy.
humor.
Like Popeye is like, is he a superhero? Or kinda. He's this guy I go drinking with every now and then. He just beats the shit out of everybody.
He's just kind of a dickhead who thinks he's really into health food because he eats spinach from time to time.
Let's do this, guys.
Like, that's it.
Let's make comic strips into a thing. It's not just Marmaduke or Garfield. Let's make Dilbert, but it's like with Tim Robinson.
Let's not make Dilbert.
I'm saying, wait till he dies, then mine his corpse for material. I mean, and just make it like overtly racist and horrible, and like that's the character. And it's
Scott Adams is doing it
Shitty
for us. We
Dilbert.
don't-
That's what I'm saying. Like, make it a commentary on just office work life being so incredibly racist and terrible.
I want Kathy. I want a Kathy movie.
Chocolate, act. Like,
So I actually think you could adapt that, right? Like you
you
could
could.
adapt that into a very fun and nice comedy. Like it would be,
it'd be like a train wreck, but for menopausal women.
yeah. Shit. Now that I've convinced myself, I said it as a joke when it first came out of my mouth, but now I'm like, fuck.
Family Circle is just a Mark Wahlberg religious film.
Yeah, it would be.
He can have
Yeah.
Family Circus.
Yeah, Family Circus is all CGI. It's the first only CGI movie.
So yeah,
Yeah.
let's get 20 Popeye live action Popeyes. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, just
like,
make them all
where's-
nightmarish and weird. Just
Right,
try to one up the Altman film.
But
Right, Mike. That's
mob
sorry.
stuff. Yeah, I just want to say like mob
Yeah.
stuff.
Fill it
like,
with mob stuff.
yeah. Fuck it.
Well, I guess
The
you know what?
only-
It's at the Wire. The season 2's at the docks. This is the dock version of
Exactly.
Yeah, The Sopranos.
Yeah, fucking Popeye finds a container full of dead sex workers from Russia.
Oh, yep.
And
Do
spinach.
it. Do it.
And spinach.
spinach.
Yeah. That's how he's able to open it.
I'm
Yep.
really interested. There's a Wimpy's Burger where my boyfriend lives in Tulare, like kind of near Bakersfield, and like I was just like, that's a weird branding, like a weird IP, a weird guy from like a secondary character from like a Popeye thing. I just like Popeye doesn't appeal to me in like any like food or TV or movie kind of way. So I'm really interested to see what they do with this.
Right. Yeah, and for people listening and wondering, like, what's the difference between making this and making a shitty Purple Crayon movie? My answer is, I don't know. I don't know why I'm excited about the idea of a shitty Popeye movie. I think to me
serious.
it's just
It's
a
a
bigger...
drama.
Yeah, I think it's just... Right now, it's like it could be anything, and, like, I hope it's not... Like, I think the Herald one is, like, trying to be mainstream is its problem.
But it stars
and
Zachary
it's like...
Levi. Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
It's a big
but
strike
it's like
against it for me.
Yes, but that I think it also is trying to be like Marvel-esque. And I'm like, no, go off the rails.
Sexy
like
Beast.
this.
Come on, like
Yeah.
that means Barge Cat's probably gonna be in it. Maybe Barge Cat will be Bluto.
Oh yeah.
And
I
Ray
just need
Winstone
this to
shows
be
up.
God,
Yeah.
yes.
That's
I just
Barge
need it
Cat.
to be completely unhinged. That's all.
Yeah. Do we have any names for this yet, or anybody?
No, no.
Sexy Beast guy.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, we have not much for the next story, which is that they're readapting the Neverending Story into another live action. I assume live action. It's from the studio that did The King's Speech.
What
not
is
that
going
that means
on?
that. I mean,
What
that
is
doesn't mean
going
anything.
No.
They did Lion as well. They
What
did
is going on today? No,
yeah.
I'm sorry. That's so weird. The Sexy Beast guy is doing Popeye. We have all these serious dramas starring Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah, it does feel like we've
Johnny
went into an
Knoxville's doing the
alternate
way
dimension.
back, and now,
Yeah, fuck. What is going on?
The King's Speech wants to do a never-ending story.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be like Tim and Eric come back, but they're doing like a really serious. It's like when Tim Heidecker does his like serious music stuff, and you're like, "Is this a bit?" And he's like, "No, seriously like making folk music, and like it's not in character, and you're like,
That would be impossible. It would be, you could not sit through an acoustic. If
You do,
Tim
people do.
Heidecker sit down on a
People do.
stool, I know, but it would be so hard the first time.
his Patreon, if you are subscribed to his Patreon, it's all sincere. Like he writes
I
it.
believe it, but
It's so weird. It's so fucking weird.
if he came in the room and sat down on a stool and started playing songs, you'd be ready to laugh. Like you would assume it was a bit.
This is what happened when I interviewed him in 2011, and then saw like he got kind of angry with me. I couldn't tell if that was a bit either, because I kept being like, okay, but the songs are like a joke, right? Like they're like, and he's like, no, he's like, they're dead serious. Like he's like, this is something that means a lot to me. It's very personal, and I was like, waiting for the punchline because this is during the Tim and Eric era.
He
and
has
then, like,
to know. He has to know.
Of course he knows, but like also I think that's part of the bit is like to have that like part of himself that it's just walled off and it is hyper sincere. Like he's an amazing guy that who's managed to not do mainstream anything. He was in Us? Like he's in 2 Seconds of Anna.
Yeah, he's great in that.
He's making decisions to like be outside of that system, and I'm like a huge On Cinema fan. That's an extended universe of itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's really
so
funny.
Weird.
He's really funny, but I love the idea that there's some sincerity there. That like he's just like keeps very, very private, kind of like Bo Burnham or something. Like where it's like,
listen, we all contain multitudes. That's why. Listen, that's why Sexy Beast wants to make a Popeye, and that's why King Speech wants to make a Never-Ending Story.
Stop.
I think this will. It's one book, right? It's just the one book.
As far as I know.
You mean
and
in the movie? Like,
but the
movie?
The movie goes beyond. I mean, the book goes well beyond where the movie ends.
Wait, I'm sorry. Was there actually a Never-Ending Story book?
Yes.
I thought it was just a book in the movie.
No. I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but in the book, it's also a boy reading a book. I thought.
Oh shit!
That's the idea. Is the boy goes into a book. It's German as shit, which I feel like you can tell by the bleakness of the story.
It's a Wolfgang Peterson movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
The sequel is the one I remember. Like, weirdly, I don't remember the Never-Ending Story. He doesn't go into the book in the first one. He's just reading about it. In the second one, he goes into the world, right? He's just reading about Crayon.
Yeah, he turns into Jonathan Brandis.
That's all to say, like, are they going to make, like, 5 of these?
I don't know. It's never ending.
Yeah, it is.
They could just keep going.
Make the Wishmaster.
Do you mean the Page Master?
Page Master.
Because,
No, I mean
the
both.
Wishmaster is
both.
definitely different.
Both, honestly.
Making the same movie and have it.
We need a new
directed by
Wishmaster.
We do need
Yorgos
it.
Lanthimos. Yeah.
We're well overdue for a new Wishmaster. Speaking of well overdue, we need to keep moving. Let's
Yep,
thank
yep.
some
All
producers.
All right, more producers. Big thank you to Mr. Tell Your Wife how many Patreon subscriptions you have before you agree to buy a house. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh no. Oh,
Thank you to musical guest Henry Garfield.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you to No One Can Hear You Scream in Space McNulty.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Norm from Cheers. Thank you to Pete for Pagel.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Numinal Ultra Microscopic Silicol Volcanoconiosis Anti-Disestablishment Terranism Jones.
Thank
you. Thank you to pre-order TikTok superstar Jason Pargin's new standalone ticking clock thriller and dark satire called I'm Starting to Worry About This Black Box of Doom. Thank you. Thank you to RevMD.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to Ricky Cilantro.
Thank you.
Thank you to Rosemary's Baby from Eraserhead.
That's the one.
Thank you.
Thank you to Screaming Horse Pyramid.
Thank you.
Thank you to Sorry Cop, world's most laughable centrist.
Thank you. Okay, let me swoop in here. Thank you to Steven.
Thank
You
you.
conveniently place self-destruct button on the top of every baby's head.
Thank
Thank you to
you.
the ghost of Dave Thomas.
Thank
you to the Midnight
you.
Patron with Patrons at Midnight.
Thank
Thank you to
you.
Neil Savage.
Thank
Thank you to the
you.
2B Terror Bunny says, the strikes may be over, but egg David Zaslav for fun and profit.
Thank
Thank you to
you.
these 7 Bs.
Thank
Thank
you.
you to Tiger Drawers Pratt Thompson. Raindrops keep falling on my head.
Thank you.
Thank you to Tip Drizzle.
Thank you.
Tux.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you to
you.
Vincent with a Y. Like
Thank
Parasyte
you.
with a Y.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you to Why Didn't You Take a Flying Fuck at the Moon?
Thank you.
And thank you to your mom.
Thank you. God damn.
Dave,
I feel like,
we're nearing the second hour.
yeah, I know.
Guys,
Jesus Christ.
I said we come in under 2 hours, so let's.
That's true. So I feel like I need to ask you if you have a movie that deserves more hype.
Yeah. And in the fashion of this episode, I have 2 Tom.
I feel like I need to
'Cause
ask
we had
you
like
if
30
you have
trailers.
a movie that deserves one outside
No,
Lambo.
I have two. Two. Damn it.
You're
This isn't
taking
my
these
fault.
movies.
This isn't my fault, guys. I had nothing to do with this.
I know.
Can't blame this on me.
Okay. So this first one, I'm actually not 100% on. I just saw the trailer and I was like, I want to talk about this
To
because
be
I
honest,
really like the
I'm
premise.
surprised at your inclusion of it. So yeah, please get into it.
I really like the premise. I don't know about the execution. The name sucks. The name is All You Need is Death, which I think is a dumb
I thought
title.
it was going to be like a sick ass like Beatles horror movie or something.
Right.
No, I think that's ironic. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
It is. The premise is it's about a haunted song, which
Yeah.
I really like the idea for. It's an old-timey folk song in Ireland, and it's about this like woman whose job is to basically like discover ancient and old songs, record them, and immortalize them. And there's clearly a message in that, and the movie kind of about that of like, you know, let some things come and go. Some things don't have to last forever. Like I think there's a moral there, but basically they show up at this like rich lady, or I don't know if she's rich. No, it's like an old rundown residence. They're tracking down this song that doesn't have a name. And this old woman who is the last person to know this song and has decided to pass it on for that reason. She has a weird puppeteer son, which I feel like they're going to get a little mileage out of.
It's Irish. It's this Ireland, like it's an Irish thing, I think.
Yeah. And so she sings this song and it creates some sort of fuck curse, it seems like.
It reminds me of the movie Dark Song, if you guys have ever seen that.
I have.
I have
Dark
not.
Song was
I have
good.
not seen Dark Song.
Dark Song's good,
Yeah.
but it gave me the same vibes of like maybe this is a horror, pretending to be a horror film, but it's actually again just like a meditation of grief and loss in some way,
Yeah.
or like a
Yeah.
lost culture. Like again, this really plays into this week's vibes of like, haha, oh no,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, this only has one review right now, which is it's a positive review, but like that's all to say that the trailer didn't really like. I didn't love the trailer. Like when the ending line where she says like it does go the closest name it could go by, she says something really dumb and I forget what it was.
Love
you
is,
think she's-
love is a knife with a blade for a handle.
Right. I
Right,
was
which
like,
is-
well, that's why you wouldn't use the like. Yeah, that's draft one of that song title.
Oh no, I thought it was supposed to be a joke because then like it's like that, and you're like, okay, that's the title, and it's like all you need is kill.
Right.
Like, all you need is death. It reminds me of the original title for All You Need Is Kill. Isn't that the name of the Day After Tomorrow or whatever? Not Day After Tomorrow. Live, Die, Repeat. That one.
I
All
think
You Need
so.
Is Death. So that's clever. I thought it was doing a clever thing. I don't
Okay.
know. I think there's hope for this because the trailer isn't hardcore. Specifically because it's not hardcore. It might be a caveat type of deal, like an indie, like more of like a psychologically weird movie. Yeah.
Like I said, I think this deserves attention. I'm just not sure.
I liked some of the images in the trailer, and I liked the premise, but the trailer itself was really strangely put together and didn't really sell the premise. So it really kind of left me hanging, honestly.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's not a great trailer. But yeah, I'm super curious about it. Unfortunately, this one is like still in festivals and shit. So
Damn.
both of these aren't ones that we're going to see anytime soon. Maybe the next one will be this year. And this next one I'm very interested in. It's called Dead Male. I've heard a lot of stuff around it. It's at South by Southwest right now. It's been compared to Fargo, which is never a bad thing.
No.
It's a very good premise. It's not one that's like, oh, why didn't I think of it? It's just simple, where it's a guy who is tied up and has clearly been kidnapped, and he's able to send a letter, not a phone call. He's able to get to a fucking mailbox and send like a help me letter. And then he's dragged away, and it's the story of the post office worker whose job it is to track down quote unquote dead mail, which is mail that you don't know where it's supposed to go or where it was from.
I was like,
and they're
okay.
gonna get entangled, I assume, with this elaborate plot, like this like kidnapping shit and stuff like that. It's shot in like this grainy, low budget. It's got an 80s aesthetic, and one of the things the reviews say that I really like is they're like, it's not Stranger Things. It's the 80s is ugly. It's
VHS.
the 80s sucks. Yeah. It's not about how great the 80s was.
I really, I watched this trailer 3 times. Loved it each time.
Yeah,
Didn't
I
get that
loved
plot.
this trailer.
Didn't get that plot
Yeah.
at all. Did not
Really?
realize it. I did not get that plot at all. I thought
That's
that
great.
opening shot was like something that happens at the end. So like I guess I was like,
right.
I don't know. It looked really good. The cast looks fantastic. It looks like this is like another up and coming star group. Like the guy that they hire to like the hitman or whatever that they hire looks great. Or whatever he is, like the guy.
He's
that they
their
bring in.
investigator. He's the guy that's got to track it down.
Yeah, but they say something about him that's really funny, and his like appearance is like very quirky.
They make it seem like they're bringing. He's like he can track down anything, and it's like a low angle hero shot of him walking down a hallway, and it's, he's just a mail service guy.
I love it. I love it. It has very vibes of Fargo. Very vibes.
The Fargoist thing, and it didn't even occur to me until Dave, you said that somebody compared it to that. Was
Or Simple Plan. Yeah, it's like
there's it's real more Fargo. Although obviously he was aping Cohen's on Simple Plan, but like it's the shot where the guy has put the letter in the mailbox, and it's just a standard blue mailbox right in front of the kidnapper's house. Like he only gets maybe 100 yards down the driveway and sticks a letter in the mailbox, and the kidnapper, there's nothing he can do about it. Have you ever tried to get a letter out of a mailbox? You can't do it.
Yeah, it's great. It's such a dumb premise, but it's
staring at the mailbox and like trying to beat it open, and realizing he can't get the letter out of there. It's such a funny problem in such a dire situation, which is what made me think of.
But also
Fargo.
hilariously, you can't open the mail. That's illegal. You can't open someone else's mail. So what are the chances of like if it doesn't have an address? Like it's like that's a real conundrum. Like I don't know.
Right, because you can sit there after the mailman picks it up. You're probably sitting there like, okay, they won't open it, will they?
Yeah.
Like, what are they gonna do? There's no address
it's
on
just
it.
written on like a postcard.
Oh right,
It's not in an envelope. He just writes something on a scrap of paper and puts it in the mailbox.
But it is one of those like
shit.
I don't know, one of those delightful like dumb problems.
Right,
like
it's
you're
a very
saying.
stupid problem.
And I love when a crime film has that like stupid problem.
Oh yeah, right, and that's why it's set in the 80s, right? Because there's no tracking. There's no way that he would have even if he's kidnapped, he doesn't know what side he's on.
I assume so. Yeah.
That's
It's just-
so
yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. It's just.
I hope this.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I hope this is we're gonna keep hearing about this one. I'm excited to watch this develop and to see it eventually because it looks like a lot of fun.
I think it's their first time. These guys. I don't think. They've done
I think
anything
it's the
else.
second film. I think I'm not certain.
They got some big South by Southwest hype for them, so like good on them. I've liked a lot of those big movies that have come out of there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. I'm not trying to like harp on this, but I feel like I know who did the All You Need Is Kill. No, that's not. Never mind. I don't. I thought it was by the Kill List, but nope, it's not.
I also wanted to give a quick update. In a Violent Nature, that Friday the 13th movie that's just from the perspective of the killer, there's a full trailer now.
Oh, yeah.
So you guys can
I
go
thought you were
watch
about
it.
to tell me it was out to watch.
It's coming out May 31st. It is coming out fairly soon. The
to be
trailer,
seen.
it looks gorgeous. Maybe we'll do it on next week or something like that.
Okay,
I don't
cool.
know.
Yeah, let's do that. Well, speaking of next week, that's a sewed. We've done
That's
it.
a show.
Oh my gosh, Drew! Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you. Love to be here. I did not pick this amount of movie trailers, so I'm not going to get blamed.
It's
this
all
time
on
for the
Dave.
length.
He adds more each week. I don't know why.
So we normally we have a conversation where we say, "Is there any trailers we want to cut?" And we didn't have that conversation. So I blame everybody else but Dave. That's what I do.
Well, I just like that they're all the same movie.
that.
I blame
great.
you, the listener. I blame you,
Yeah.
the listener.
I blame me too.
Kind of like the movies we talked about. This will just be a 2-hour-long meditation in just thinking about life and philosophy and why Barbie is just going to be so endemic in the next 20 years of other kind of movies that are coming out. And yeah, guys.
Do you want to hit your
Yeah.
plugs
Having
again?
me. Oh,
Hit your plugs.
Where can people find you? What are you doing?
passionfru.it. So fru, like spelled FRU.it. That's sign up for our newsletter. We are, like I said, we are a creator labor organization and news outlet that is, we're starting a Patreon soon. We have a Discord. We're doing a lot of like resources and guides for creators who need help. Just anything in the landscape because it's a really as Dave and I have talked about a lot, it's a minefield out there. Creators don't have any rights for their content on the online space, and there needs to be some action about it. I'm not sure if it's going to be like a union or a guild that needs to happen. I think maybe it's people need to start realizing that their small businesses are small businesses with creative stuff. So that's sort of what I'm looking at right now. But it's also a really good website. We do news. We do like I said, guides, and we have some really talented staffers there. So check us out if you get this in time. Check my Instagram because we will have a Discord thing tomorrow, and if not, you can catch it on our YouTube channel where we also have Reactorverse and a couple other shows that are really awesome. So yeah, check us out.
Awesome.
Cool. I'll plug our Patreon, patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed, GAMEFULLY, unemployed. We have exclusive podcasts like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and Spiel Boys. We watch movies every Friday night on our Discord. We have a great Discord community, so check that out as well.
We also have a store. Head over to gamefullyunemployed.com where you can find a link to our Teespring store, where we have all kinds of cool original artwork and designs you can get on t-shirts, mugs, stickers, posters, all sorts of things. So slap your dead male peepers onto that.
Mm-hmm.
I know the audience can't see this, but I have a Fox Mulder is a Maniac poster.
Oh, you sure
it's
do.
blurring out. It's only showing him. It's blurring out his background. That's so good.
Yeah, it's such a good poster. I need to reframe this, but it's so good.
Yeah, it is so good. Started that. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's a great poster by Starlene Hodge.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's long enough. Say
we
goodbye,
can wait.
everyone.
We can wait 5 minutes to get the two. All right.
No, we
Let's
can
say
say
goodbye.
goodbye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Our music is produced by Chris Corlew. Find him on Twitter at @thecorlew or go to shipwrecksailor.bandcamp.com. Our channel artwork is by Michael Vincent Bramley. For more of his work, go to mvbramley.art. Episode artwork is by Justin Brown. Available on Twitter as @JustinTBrown or at artnessbyjustinbrown.com. And finally, additional artwork by Starlene Hodge. You can find her work at starlenearts.com or Twitter @StarleneX. Goodbye now.